But compared to Sasuke, Kakashi has more important tasks here. That is Ike in front of him. However, it seems that there is no need for him to appear now. After all, Ike is surrounded by several beauties, big and small, mature and sexy, and pure and lovely. All styles are available. Especially the girl from Sanagakure, who was only 11 or 12 years old, made Kakashi's jaw drop in shock. However, in comparison, Kakashi's gaze was involuntarily attracted by the dark-eyed boy beside him. There was no expression on the doll's face, as if it was not a real person, but a puppet. There was a big gourd on his back, and he didn't know what was in it. However, Kakashi doesn't care. What he cares about is the identity of this boy. Gaara, son of 4th Kazekage, Jinchuriki of One Tail. Unexpectedly, 4th Kazekage would send Jinchuriki here. Isn't he afraid that Jinchuriki might have an accident here? Asima also looked heavy. Now is a good opportunity, shall we? As he spoke, he made a gesture of wiping his neck. Might Guy immediately said seriously. No. How could we do such a despicable thing? Asuma looked at Might Guy speechlessly. Is this guy really a ninja? Calling mean? Aren't ninjas just people who do dirty things in the dark? Kakashi also shook his head and said, indeed, don't forget our mission. If Ike is stimulated by the battle with Gaara here, not to mention our own safety, if Ike has a bad feeling for us Konoha because of this, then we will die. Asuma also understood the importance of it, and completely suppressed the killing intent. Gaara took a look here, and then looked away without paying attention. He turned to look at Ike surrounded by many women. This made Gaara a little helpless. He came here specially because he wanted to ask Ike about something. But obviously those women would not give him this chance. But if you really want to fight, these women are not so fuel efficient. He may not be able to beat it. If you use the power of the tailed beast, maybe Ike will kill him before he makes a move. It's also something Gaara doesn't want. In desperation, Gaara could only remain silent, waiting for a chance to talk to Ike. Ike dealt helplessly with the women around him. Although it is a very wonderful thing to have a woman in her arms. However, if you can't figure out whether these women are because of your personality charm or have other plans for you, this kind of entanglement will become torture. Ike is clear. The reason why they are entangled in their side. It's nothing more than the power he showed and the changes his joining can bring to their ninja village. That's why I spared no effort to express my own charm so hard. But also because of this, Ike has a grudge in his heart and cannot easily agree to a certain party. Ike knew everything about everyone present, but he can't show it now. Who made him use amnesia as an excuse, although it saved a lot of trouble before. But as these women got entangled, Ike found that the troubles not only did not decrease, but became more popular. Just when Ike was in trouble, the change in the studio saved him. A line of words appeared on the black screen in the live broadcast room, which attracted everyone's attention. The first comparison video is over, so, now start playing the second comparison video, which is the Ninja World video after Ike's intervention. Everyone's attention was concentrated, and the discussions in the live broadcast room came to an end. They all looked at the screen expectantly, intending to see how Ike would change the Uchiha clan. Especially those Uchiha clan in the Pure Land world. Uchiha Izumi's cheeks were bright red, as if he had thought of something. But soon, her eyes dimmed. After all, no matter how intentional she is just a dead person now. Nothing to do with the living Ike. It would be nice if I were still alive. Uchiha Izumi said with gloomy eyes, and felt that it was impossible after he finished speaking. Ninja world is not without resurrection technique. But in Pure World reincarnation just summons the soul back, the body is just a false body. And Rinnegan, you need to pay the price of life after using it. She thinks that no one will use this kind of ninjutsu for her. At this time, the screen became rich. The comparison video has started. She immediately raised her head and looked at it seriously. Whether it is Ninja World, Pure Land, or the Otsutsuki family on Dadong Jupiter, all the movements are the same. Because of the beginning of the comparison video, Ike got a rare quiet. He couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. At the same time, he was considering whether to leave first. Since ancient times, it has been said that it is the most difficult to bear the grace of a beauty. With so many beauties, he felt that he couldn't bear it. The main reason is that he can't deal with it wholeheartedly. When there is a grudge in his heart, he must be on guard. This feeling is really too tiring. Just when Ike was thinking wildly. The video starts playing. At the beginning of the video, it is like a pair of eyes that have just opened. After the initial haze, the line of sight gradually became clearer. It can be seen that Japanese and handsome men and women appear in sight. The two wear the Uchiha family's unique round fan family emblem, which means that both of them are members of the Uchiha family. These two are Ake's parents. Since childhood, Ake has shown talent beyond ordinary people. After only half a year, he was able to walk alone, and he was able to speak after 8 months. The Uchihas soon learned of the fact that a genius had appeared in the village. 1 year old, Ake raised a puppy and played with it every day. However, within 2 months, the puppy fell into a ditch due to an accident and accidentally broke its neck. Looking at the puppy's body, the sad Ake's eyes suddenly changed. Scarlet pupils appeared, and there were actually 2 tomo inside. The news immediately spread throughout the Uchiha clan. The elders and patriarch Uchiha Fugaku of the Uchiha clan were all alarmed, and they all came over to confirm Ake's Sharingan and exclaimed that it was incredible. After the age of 2, the gifted Ake began to practice, and the family's low-level fire-style ninjutsu can be said to be easy to teach. Advanced fire-style ninjutsu can also be learned in 2 days. The super strength displayed by Ake shocked the Uchiha clan. Uchiha elders and patriarch Uchiha Fugaku ordered not to disclose the existence of Commodore Ake to the village. The conflict between the Uchiha clan and the village has deepened day by day. And Uchiha Fugaku knows that Danzo is very eyeing on their Uchiha clan. So, after discussing with the elders, he made the decision to hide Ake. They didn't want Ake to die unexpectedly for some inexplicable reason. This is a huge loss that their Uchiha clan cannot bear. Even if the frontline war is still going on, there are still enough people in the village to protect Ake. For this decision, Uchiha's top management felt very ashamed of Ake. But Ake smiled and said it doesn't matter. Since it is for the benefit of the whole family, then my sacrifice is nothing. Tears welled up in the eyes of the high-level Uchiha clan who spoke these words. Ake is not only extremely talented, but even his heart for the sake of the family moved them. They secretly vowed in their hearts that they must train Ake to be the greatest person in the history of the Uchiha clan. And Ake practiced step by step in the family training ground every day. The Nine Tails Rebellion has not yet happened, and the Uchiha clan has not been completely marked by Anbu. So Ake can rest assured to practice in the training ground of the clan. Ake's strength is also improving step by step. Every day there will be some masters of the Uchiha family to guide Ake, and everyone is very serious. Because they know that Ake must be an important figure in the future of their clan. When Ake was 3 years old, something big happened. The remains of the ninjas who died at the front were sent back. Most of the remains are incomplete. What's more, even the corpses are not left behind. It can be seen that the battle on the front line is tragic. Also on this day, Ake got a bad news. An elder in the group who has been very good to him has sacrificed. Looking at the pale face of this elder, Ake's heart was shaken. Under the great sorrow, it also caused a second change in his eyes. Ake's Sharingan turned into Sanguyu. This situation undoubtedly excited the whole family. But they tried their best to suppress the excitement. Not only because the overall atmosphere is extremely strong, but also to protect Ake from being exposed. However, even the clansmen don't know it. This time Ake not only awakened the Sanguyu, but even went one step further, awakening Mangekyo. Ake didn't tell anyone about this, but kept it as his own secret. Deidara. What a guy. As expected of Master Ake. How old is this? Mangekyo already exists. Uchiha Madara. This is impossible. How could someone be able to awaken Mangekyo so early? This is too exaggerated. Even Brother Ake. This is too exaggerated. Kakuzu. Should it be Ake? He never disappoints us when it comes to shocking people. Hidan. I can only say that Master Ake is too strong. Onoki. I don't know what is Ake's awakened Mangekyo ability. It's really exciting. Senju Hashirama. Having these eyes at the age of 3, it is hard to imagine what Ake will achieve in the future. Uchiha Fugaku. Wait. If Ake has experienced every video, does it mean that he actually has the blood of our Uchiha family? Ake is Uchiha. Kakashi. This angle is really strange, but if you think about it carefully, there is no problem. However, if you count it this way, Ake also has the blood of many other ninjas, such as the Hyuga clan, the Tianju clan and so on. Grandma Chio. It's hard for me to realize what kind of power Ake really possesses. Scorpion. It can only be said that this man has become more and more terrifying. Dried Persimmon Kisame. I want to know what decision this Ake will make on the fate of the Uchiha clan. Uchiha Izumi. Ake-kun will definitely change the fate of the Uchiha clan. When Ake was 4 years old, the first child of the patriarch Uchiha Fugaku was born. Was named Uchiha Itachi. Uchiha Fugaku has high hopes for him. Uchiha Fugaku doesn't expect Uchiha Itachi to reach the level of Ake's 3-year-old who started 3 Tomo Sharingan. But at least you have to behave better than other clansmen. This is in line with his status as the patriarch. Ake would come over from time to have a look. Uchiha Itachi is adorable as a baby. It is hard to imagine that in the future he will aim his sharp blade at his own people. The birth of Uchiha Itachi is also a big event in the clan. After all, as the patriarch, Uchiha Fugaku, having offspring means inheritance. Everyone is very happy. But also from this day, Ake has an extra tail behind him. Uchiha Shisui, future Uchiha #1 Genjutsu ninja. Owner of the distinguished heavenly gods. Now it's like a follower, wherever Ake goes, he follows. Ake didn't care about that either. Wow, brother Ake is amazing. Uchiha Shisui clapped his hands in admiration as he watched Ake easily throw more than a dozen shurikens into the bull's eye at different positions at the same time. The little hands were flushed red. Ake smiled, rubbed Kei's little head and said, "Don't worry, Shisui, you can do it in the future." Shisui suddenly said in surprise, "Can I really?" Ake nodded firmly. "Of course, I believe you." Shisui immediately picked up a handful of kunai and said, "Can I try it?" Ake nodded and smiled. "Go." Shisui threw kunai out eagerly. But before refining chakra, Shisui, who didn't have much strength, just threw kunai 2 meters before falling to the ground powerlessly. Shisui's face was filled with disappointment. Ake patted Shisui's small head and said, "You can't do it now. When you start refining chakra, you can devote yourself to training." Ji lowered his head in despair. "But I heard from the grown-ups that, brother Ake, you started practicing when I was so young. Why can't I?" Ake said with a smile. "Because Ake is your big brother, naturally you have to work hard to protect you." Shisui looked up excitedly and said, "Really?" Shisui also wants to protect brother Ake. Ake smiled and touched Shisui's little head. "Really? I'll be looking forward to it." 2 years passed. Shisui started to practice, and under the guidance of Ake, he made great progress. And this year, there is one more follower behind Ake. That is the son of the patriarch Uchiha Fugaku, Uchiha Itachi. Uchiha Itachi, who is already 2 years old, has already started practicing. Uchiha Fugaku was pleasantly surprised by the outstanding talent on display. Although not as good as Ake, it is good enough. Ake is a person who likes to laugh very much. You can always see a sincere smile on Ake's face. But if there is a misunderstanding of Ake's character because of this, it will obviously suffer a big loss. Soon, Ake will reach the age of Jonin school. As soon as he started school, students who could not understand the Uchiha clan came to make trouble. After school, several senior students surrounded Ake in a corner. Because of their age, their tall figures surrounded Ake in the middle, which seemed airtight. Ake raised his head, still smiling. "Everyone stop me, what do you want to do?" A boy from the Shimura clan with a shoehorn face said disdainfully. "What to do? Disgusting Uchiha, of course I will teach you a lesson. My father obviously didn't do anything, he just drank some wine. You guys from the Uchiha clan arrested people indiscriminately. Who gave you this right?" Ake was still smiling. "Naturally, Master Second Hokage." Another boy from the Sarutobi clan was furious, and raised his hand to give Ake a slap. "Damn it. How dare you talk glibly? See if I didn't teach you a good lesson, ah." The Sarutobi boy clutched his wrist and screamed in pain, before kneeling uncontrollably on the ground. "I saw his palm, and I don't know when it has been taken by Juwu assassin." Ake's smile remained unchanged, and he turned to look at Shimura boy and asked, "We're all fellow villagers, aren't we? Since this is the case, it is right for the family to get along with the children. And, now that the war is not over, it's time we need to be united, isn't it?" The other teenagers couldn't help but take 2 steps back. Seeing the smile on Ake's face made them feel creepy inside. Piercing the palm with kunai, even they may not be able to do this kind of behavior. As a result, the Uchiha boy in front of him did it without changing his face, and so fast, they didn't even see it. However, the 2 steps back involuntarily seemed to hurt Shimura's self-esteem. He said with an ugly face. "He is alone, we fight together, are we afraid that we won't be able to beat him?" The others looked at each other, and the superiority in numbers quickly regained their confidence. So, they rushed forward. But before they could gather around, Each of them felt a heart-rending pain from the soles of their feet. Ah, my feet. It hurts when. Mom. I'm going home. Mom. These teenagers wept bitterly, squatting down to look at the soles of their feet pierced by kunai. I want to pull out the kunai, but I am afraid that the pain will intensify. Everyone was restrained in place, unable to move. Ake squatted down, aligned his eyes with Shimura boy, and said with a smile. So, let's get along well, the future is still very long, isn't it? As he spoke, Ake patted Shimura's boy on the face, and then walked away with a smile on his face. Behind him, there was a continuous mournful howl. Deidara. Are you so hot at such a young age? I like it. Kakuzu. This is the basic rule of the ninja world, the weak eat the strong. Onoki. After all, we already have Mangekyo Sharingan. Although it still feels unbelievable, it is naturally extremely easy to deal with just a few teenagers. What I care more about is his attitude, which makes people shudder. Grandma Chio. People who can laugh like this will definitely become scary when they grow up. Scorpion. Ake should be the person who laughs the most in the Uchiha family, right? He laughs all the time, and it's not a fake smile, but it gives people a creepy feeling, which is really scary. Kakashi. This time Ake is compared to Sasuke. Sasuke never smiles, but Ake keeps smiling. What a comparison. Uchiha Madara. Haha. As expected of my good brother. You were right. Senju Tobarama gave you the rights of the guard. How dare you not be convinced? Senju Tobarama. Well, my original intention was to separate Uchiha from Anbu, but I didn't expect things to develop to this point. Orochimaru. There are so many places you can't imagine. I'm afraid you can't imagine that the reanimation jutsu you created will develop to that extent in my hands. Jiraiya. I have a bright smile, but why do I feel scared? What a scary person, Ake. Tsunade. Huh. I think it looks good, what's wrong? Terumi Mei. That's right, he's such a good-looking boy. What kind of eyes do you all have? Haitu. That's right. My Ake husband is so cute. You guys are just jealous. Sasuke. HMPH. The hippie's smiling face doesn't have the majesty of the Uchiha clan at all. Dried persimmon Kisame. When you were young in front of Mr. Itachi, you laughed very happily, little brother Sasuke. Pain. I'm curious what Ake's Mangekyo pupil technique will be. Uchiha Fugaku. That's Ake, it will definitely surprise us. The troublesome seniors did not report to the teacher. But the next day, the guys actually found their father blocking Ake at the school gate. Several adults surrounded Ake in the middle, with a fierce look on his face. And Ake still looked up with a smile on his face. Is there something you guys are looking for me for? Uncle Shimura with a shoehorn face said viciously. Spare the garlic. Did you stab my son with kunai? We are all from the same village, but you actually pierced the sole of my son's foot with a kunai. After Uncle Shimura spoke, the others echoed loudly. Yes, yes. You are too vicious. You're destroying their futures. If they leave hidden wounds, they may not even be able to be ninjas. In my opinion, you are a little devil. You are worthy of the Uchiha clan, it is simply too hateful. Today we will teach you a good lesson for your parents. A brat like you needs to suffer to know what to do and what not to do. As he said that, an uncle with a gloomy face stretched out his hand, trying to lift Ake up. But, in the next moment, there was a handful of kunai in his palm. It runs through the back of his hand and emerges from the palm. Exactly the same injury as his son. Ah. Uncle Yin Yu let out a scream, covered his palms and retreated. Expose Ake in the encirclement. Uncle, we are companions in the same village, we should get along well. Ake said with a smile all over his face, but what he said made the adults angry. Who is your companion Uchiha? A group of disgusting monsters, they are simply demons. Sacrifice your companions to gain strength, who wants to have companions like you? How dare you attack your lord, see if I don't teach you a lesson. Grown-ups naturally don't shrink back like children. They will only get angrier. He even directly took out a hidden weapon such as a kunai shuriken, which is self-evident to the extent of blocking wolves. But, before they could make a move, Ake was done, his attack. Ake wouldn't just stay where he was and wait for someone to attack. He always likes to strike first. Immediately, the arrogant adults fell to the ground one after another, howling terribly. On their palms and soles, there are kunai and shurikens. And it was the hidden weapon they just took out by themselves. As a result, Ake took it from their hands without anyone noticing, and launched an attack on them. Ake knelt down and said to Uncle Shimura, who was howling. Let's get along well, Uncle, how about it? After all, we are companions in a village. Uncle Shimura's face was full of fear at the moment. He didn't even dare to look at Ake's face, his eyes kept dodging. Ake suddenly said curiously. Ah, the uncles were using kunai and shuriken just now, are you holding back? But now the war is going on fiercely outside the village, and the uncles are not Anbu who protect the village. Why do they stay in the village? Are all the uncles deserters? Or, did the uncles not participate at all? Oh, it's no wonder that the uncles are so weak, they might die soon after going to the battlefield, so they probably dare not go. However, as a ninja, it is natural to make a good contribution. This is the only way to be a good ninja. Be obedient, uncle, go to the front line tomorrow, and shine for Konoha. Isn't this the will of fire that Hokage-sama has been preaching? After speaking, Ake left with a smile on his face. Only Uncle Shimura, who didn't even dare to scream, was left trembling in place. After this time, nobody bothers Ake anymore. However, Ake's strength is very strong, and he can no longer hide it. So, soon. Sarutobi Hiruzen approved Ake's application for early graduation, even though Ake himself did not submit the so-called application. Uchiha Fugaku immediately approached Sarutobi Hiruzen to protest. However, the decision has been made, and Uchiha Fugaku cannot change Sarutobi Hiruzen's will. Nor was it possible to obtain sufficient peer-to-peer resources. Ake, who graduated from ninja school, is about to embark on the road to the front line. What Uchiha Fugaku can do is to make the frontline clansmen pay attention to protect Ake. Ake himself has no dissatisfaction with this, at least not from his face. Even if he was going to the front line, Ake just smiled and didn't care at all. Soon. Ake arrived at the front line. He was assigned to the unit with the most casualties, the area where Orochimaru was. This is the area where the fighting is most intense, there will be conflicts every day, and there will be casualties every day. 40% of the casualties on the entire front came from here. Deidara. What a sinister villain. Can this kind of thing happen? Kakuzu. Disgusting. I can't see other people's geniuses, so I plan to use this method to make Ake have an accident on the battlefield? Fourth Raikage. Hey. You have been preaching that the whole village is one family. Are you framing the family like this? How shameless. Grandma Chio. I am not surprised that a group of dirty old men who only know how to play tricks will make such a decision. Onoki. I thought I was insidious enough, but compared to these two Konohas, there is obviously still a very high rank difference. I am really ashamed. Pain. Konoha, the big tree in the sky, has been rotten from the bottom, and it has reached the point where it needs to be repaired. Orochimaru. I'm not surprised at all. After all, there were too many death lists in front of me. I don't know how many geniuses of various races there are. Jiraiya. Really, it's frustrating, Mr. Sarutobi. Tsunade. Hey, I have long since given up on them, so I have no plans to go back. Uchiha Madara. He is worthy of being selected by you. Let's see how he rotted Konoha. It's all your fault. Senju Hashirama. I can't refute. Monkey. Look at the good things you did. You actually used this method to frame your fellow villagers. You really let me down. Senju Tobarama. Nothing to say. Orochimaru, are you not ready yet? Kakashi. Oh, when did Konoha become like this? Terumi Mei. When your father was forced to death, I'm afraid it was quite different from before. Killer Bee. The invincible Konoha's White Fang commits suicide. It's a big joke. But Konoha's people are so magical, they can always make operations that kill their own people, just like the thing about the Hyuga clan. Darui. That's right, no matter how you look at it, we were the ones making the attack, but Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't refute it at all. Instead, he accepted our unreasonable conditions. It's hard to say whether he is using this to suppress the Hyuga clan. Scorpion. There are a total of 10 fights in the world, and Sarutobi Danzo monopolizes 12. People in the world still owe them 2 fights. Black Soil. In other words, do they need to carry all the blame in the world? Hoshigaki Kisame. That's natural. Don't look at how many immoral things they have done. Conan. Although the other behind-the-scenes Black Hands have done a lot of things to harm the world, at least they have their purpose, but the purpose of these 2 people is simply disgusting. Soon, Ake was brought in front of because Orochimaru is very interested in Ake, who was forced to graduate from ninja school at the age of 5. As for the fact that Ake is a genius, Orochimaru doesn't care. After all, the so-called genius Orochimaru has seen too much. What Konoha lacks most is genius. It seems that the yellow flash Namikaze Minato, which is active in the battlefield now, is a nightmare that the enemy cannot escape. What Orochimaru was curious about was what kind of person would make his teacher graduate from the ninja school regardless of common sense, and then he couldn't wait to be fascinated by his side of the battlefield. Nice to meet you, Master Orochimaru. Aike greeted very politely. Orochimaru looked at Aike very bluntly, his eyes were extremely naked. Even though he's just a child, Mr. Sarutobi is really old, and he's afraid of a little Onimaru like you. What is Orochimaru-sama talking about? Why can't I understand? Aike said with a smile. There was still some confusion on the expression, as if a child couldn't understand what Orochimaru was saying. Orochimaru pouted, but didn't care. Compared with the so-called genius, Orochimaru is now more concerned about his future plans. After all, as a disciple of Sarutobi Hiruzen, Inshemaru is not young anymore. In order to fulfill his ambition of learning all ninjutsu, he knows that there is not much time left for him. He had to think of other ways to change this situation. Since he is a genius of the Uchiha clan, let the Uchiha clan deal with it. When Orochimaru saw it, he knew that Aike was not easy. But he didn't care, and he was sent to the team of the Uchiha clan. Even on the front line, the Wave clan was feared by other ninja clans. Except for the members of their respective teams, the members of other teams looked at the Uchiha clan not so friendly. Of course, this kind of gaze is very cryptic. After all, they are still in the battlefield, and they are all teammates of the same faction. But judging from the signs observed by Aike, it can be found that the gap between the village and Uchiha is getting bigger and bigger. The smile on Aike's face became even brighter. Soon, Aike was picked up by the elders of the Uchiha clan. The subsequent wars basically had nothing to do with Aike. Because of Aike's unique talent, the people of the Uchiha family dare not take any risks. I'm afraid that Aike will have the slightest situation. Although there are always teams, but every time there will be many teams of the Uchiha family applying to go with them, and their purpose is to protect Aike's safety. And Orochimaru also took advantage of the mentality of the Uchiha clan to continuously dispatch Aike to areas where the war situation was critical. This naturally made the people of the Uchiha family volunteer to go to these high-risk areas, and the natural casualties became much larger. Although Orochimaru has no intention of participating in the suppression of the Uchiha clan by the village high level, Orochimaru doesn't mind going along and reducing the number of Chiba clan. Not long after, the years-long war finally came to a halt as the supply lines of Rock Shinobi's forces were blown up. As Namikaze Minato, who blew up the Kanabi Bridge, became the hero of this war and was in the limelight for a while. Even Orochimaru, who is the frontline commander, falls short. Aike returned to the village intact. Apart from the fact that the clansmen suffered a lot more casualties because they wanted to protect him, there were no other problems. Peace was restored, and Aike returned to his peaceful daily life. Although becoming a genin, the task still has to be done. Fortunately, the D-level mission is not dangerous, so the non-Zebo clan did not send special personnel to protect it. And at this time, on the way back after performing a mission, the two teammates walking on both sides of Aike suddenly fell silently. It turned out to be unconsciously falling into hallucinations. Aike stood still and turned to look behind him. It turned out to be Master Orochimaru. I wonder if Master Orochimaru wants to ask me for something? Aike looked very indifferent, as if he didn't have any unexpected emotions about the sudden change around him, as if it was all taken for granted. Even when he saw Orochimaru, he wasn't surprised at all. Orochimaru was at a loss for what to do with the smiling expression on his face that would not change for 10,000 years. Orochimaru will be here, a deal Danzo made with him. Danzo hopes that Orochimaru will be able to bring Aike to the roots. To this end, Danzo is willing to support Orochimaru as the next Hokage. Orochimaru, who wanted to become Hokage and learn those forbidden techniques, naturally agreed without much consideration. In his opinion, it was just taking away a little devil of a few years old. Even if it is a genius, it is certainly impossible for him to be an opponent of one of the Sannin. But Aike's performance made Orochi feel uncomfortable. You don't seem surprised to see me. Obviously your teammates have fallen, but you don't care about them at all. You are such a strange kid, Aike-kun. Aike turned around, looked up at Orochimaru and said with a smile. Master Orochimaru hasn't answered my question yet. Is there anything you want from me? If there is nothing wrong, I will send them to the hospital. Orochimaru narrowed his slender eyes slightly and then said. There is a person who wants to see you. If you don't want to suffer, then come with me. With that said, Orochimaru turned his head and left. It took for granted that Aike would follow him. But Aike just stood there with a smile on his face, silently watching Orochimaru go out for a few steps. Hearing no footsteps behind him, Orochimaru turned his head in doubt. What are you doing? Go away now. Aike shook his head and said. I don't want to see that person. If he wants to see me, let him come in person. With that said, Aike turned around and planned to leave on his own. Aike's choice made Orochimaru very surprised. He didn't expect that a boy who was only a few years old would dare to ignore his existence. This irritated Orochimaru a bit. Looks like Aike-kun wants to suffer a bit. Light shadow snake hand. A thick snake entangled in an instant, wrapping Aike tightly. Orochimaru said proudly immediately. I said a long time ago, if you don't want to suffer, just follow me obediently. However, Aike, who was restrained, still looked at Orochimaru with a smile, as if the snake's tightening force didn't affect him at all. Orochimaru is one of the top ninjas after all, quickly sensed something is wrong. Etc. Orochimaru made a sudden force, and the snake immediately tightened, and directly squeezed the bound Aike into two pieces. However, after the two pieces fell to the ground, they turned into a piece of wood instead. Body replacement technique? Orochimaru squinted his eyes, but soon realized something was wrong. No, not right. It's an illusion. Orochimaru turned around in horror, trying to find Aike. He immediately found that Aike was 10 steps away to his left, and looked at himself with a smile. How did you do it? I am one of the dignified Sannin. How could I fall into the illusion of a brat like you? Aike said with a smile. Master Orochimaru, when do you think you got the illusion? This sentence immediately made Orochimaru suspicious. He began to keep thinking about it. Is it time to use the light shadow snake hand? No. Earlier. Is it when he turned around? That's not right. No abnormalities were found at that time. When exactly is that? Aike said with a smile. Unexpected. But it's no wonder, because when I first met Mr. Orochimaru, you had already fallen under my illusion. Onoki. How is it possible? No matter how powerful Aike is, how can he cast illusion on Orochimaru? Tsunade. Impossible. Why do I feel that Orochimaru has poor resistance to illusions? Orochimaru. My illusion resistance is poor, it is due to other reasons. During this period, my illusion resistance is still very strong, and it is impossible for easy illusion to control me. Fourth Raikage. Orochimaru is a waste. Deidara. No matter how Master Aike did it, there is no doubt that Master Aike is amazing. Kakuzu. Even if Orochimaru's illusion resistance is not good, it is impossible to be controlled for such a long time, and Orochimaru can't detect it in the middle. Scorpion. There is no such illusion in this world, except distinguished heavenly gods, which fundamentally distorts the will of others. Uchiha Madara. Don't forget. Aike has Mangekyo. This might be his Mangekyo ability. Grandma Chiyo. Mangekyo Sharingan, what a pair of terrifying eyes. Terumi Mei. Compared with other people from the Uchiha clan really take advantage. Impossible. Orochimaru shouted loudly. How long has it been? Your illusion can't last that long. Besides, if I have been hit by an illusion, how could I not notice it for so long? It's absolutely impossible. However, when Orochimaru looked over, Aike was no longer there. It's not the body flicker technique or other ninjutsu, but the weird feeling that it was there 1 second, and disappeared without a sound the next. Nothing is impossible. Aike's voice came from above, and Orochimaru looked up immediately, and saw Aike's figure appearing on the branch next to him. But it quickly disappeared slowly, little by little. Very weird. Orochimaru had goosebumps all over his body. He knew that he must still be under the pressure of illusion. Otherwise, Aike's weird sense of disappearance cannot be explained. The way of the world is full of wonders. Don't judge the whole world with your personal cognition. Aike's voice was able to come from behind Orochimaru. Orochimaru turned around suddenly and found that Aike was only half body. Yes, only half. Only Aike's upper body. And it was as if someone used an eraser to erase Aike from bottom to top. Hateful. Orochimaru's face became serious. He found that the level of this illusion was very high, at least he couldn't decipher it alone. Because he has tried many times, but it has not worked. He can only watch Aike keep disappearing, and disappear in place in a very incomprehensible and unique way. Arrogance is one of the original sins. Master Orochimaru, to be a human being, You must know how to be humble, just like doing an experiment, and you must maintain a pious mentality for the process of the experiment, so that you can better welcome the arrival of success. Tell that person I don't want to see him. This time, take it as a lesson. Please don't come into my life at will, I don't like it. After saying these words, Ake's voice disappeared without a trace. Disappearing together, there are two teammates who were hit by Orochimaru's illusion. Etc. Orochimaru yelled loudly, he knew he would leave if he didn't say anything. What kind of illusion is this? Why have I never seen it? The long silence even made Orochimaru think that Ake had already left. At the moment when Orochimaru was extremely depressed, a chuckle suddenly came from his ear. Then Orochimaru was horrified to find that the vision in front of him suddenly changed, from the road outside Konoha village to an endless void of darkness. He was standing in a void, with nothing up, down, left, or right. How is this going? Orochimaru panicked, but he found that his actions were not hindered by anything. Ake's voice echoed in the void. This is my unique ability. I call it Kyoka Suigetsu, and its function is very simple, that is to change all your knowledge. It's as if now, I change your vision and let you see this piece of nothingness, but in fact, you are still standing in place. Master Orochimaru, do you understand now? That is to say, as long as I don't want to, you will never find out where I am. Even if you roll your eyes, you can't see through, I have already experimented with this point. There was nothing but horror in Orochimaru's eyes. As a powerful ninja, Orochimaru knows all too well how deadly this ability can be. Easily change all the perception abilities of others, and it is completely possible to kill the target without anyone noticing. It is simply the most suitable ability for assassination. The alarm bells in Orochimaru's heart were already ringing the loudest. Regardless of whether what Ake said is true or not, but the ability he has shown so far is enough to make Daxi vigilant. At least, Orochimaru dared not appear in front of Ake until he found a way to crack it. Uchiha Madara. Did you see it? I said it was Ake's Mangekyo. Senju Hashirama. What a powerful ability. Senju Tobirama. It's just hanging out. Onoki. With this ability, Ake is completely invincible. Kakuzu. The massacre of the Uchiha family 10 years later, I am afraid it is impossible to happen again. After all, no matter how strong Itachi is, it is impossible to defeat the current Ake. Deidara. The plan has not started yet, it has already declared bankruptcy. Grandma Chio. Is it really worthy of being Ake? It always brings us enough surprises. Tsunade. This ability is really terrifying. Orochimaru. Sharingan can still have such an ability. From this point of view, the extermination of Uchiha is really a wasteful act. If all the Uchiha people are awakened to Mangekyo, I don't know how many incredible special abilities will appear. Uchiha Izuna. The number of Mangekyo is limited, but the specific number has not been counted, because the price to be paid to open Mangekyo was too high. Scorpion. Now there is the method provided by Ake, but the Uchiha people are gone, and statistics cannot be carried out. Uchiha Fugaku. Itachi. Obito. You two traitors, you deserve death. Dried persimmon ghost shark. It seems that someone broke the defense, but it's no wonder, I can't accept this situation. Pain. It can only be said that the luck is bad. After all, the time when Ake appeared was not in the past, but now. Conan. I just hope that Ake can join us and work with us to fulfill our original intention of forming the Akatsuki organization. After scaring off Orochimaru, Ake's life returned to normal. The expected root members did not appear, and Danzo seemed to have disappeared, without the previous arrogance. Apparently learned of Ake's abilities from Orochimaru. Ake didn't think there was anything wrong with his abilities being exposed. Sometimes, some abilities need to be hidden, because once exposed, someone will be able to find a way to target them. But Ake believes that only when his ability is exposed, will he show the strongest deterrent effect. Because after knowing this information, everyone who meets Ake will think about it unconsciously. Whether the Ake in front of them is the real Ake, or the fake Ake that Ake let them see. It is precisely because of this that Orochimaru is very clear about Ake's ability, but he dare not act rashly. The same goes for Danzo. In this way, under the rare peace, time flies by. Before I knew it, more than a year had passed. This year, Ake was 8 years old. Uchiha Shisui is the same age as Ake. Uchiha Itachi is 4 years old. At the same time, Uchiha Itachi's younger brother, Uchiha Fugaku's second son, Uchiha Sasuke, known as Nijuja, was born. At this time, Sarutobi Hiruzen had abdicated, and Namikaze Minato, who made a big splash in the third battle, defeated Orochimaru and became the fourth Hokage. In a few months, Namikaze Minato's wife Uzumaki Kushina is about to give birth. Because of the special identity of Uzumaki Kushina Jinchuriki, production must be kept in an absolutely safe environment. So I deliberately chose an inaccessible place and set up multiple barriers. This strict protection seems to be foolproof, but Aike sees it in his eyes, but feels that it is full of loopholes. Isn't this place without 300 taels of silver? In such a deserted place, such an enchantment suddenly appeared, isn't it just telling others that there is a secret here? As long as the perception ability is sufficient, within a certain range, you will be able to discover the enchantment here. For intruders who dare to break into Konoha, how useful is this barrier that only serves as a notification? Aike felt very unsafe. Really, as Aike expected. 9 Tails, the demon fox, suddenly appeared in the village. Moreover, the 9 Tails demon fox was extremely violent, and launched the most violent attack on everything it saw. Uchiha Fugaku and his clan wanted to go to support them, but Anbu with a mask appeared in front of them, forbidding the people of the Katsuchibo clan to approach 9 Tails. And it is said that it is the order of 3rd Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen. Uchiha Fugaku fell silent for a moment. At this time, Aike came up with a smile on his face. "Excuse me, your excellency should be someone who belongs to Anbu." The root ninja said coldly. "That's right." Aike continued to ask. "In this case, why did you convey the order of the previous generation Hokage? The order of the 4th Hokage?" As soon as Aike said this, Uchiha Fugaku suddenly understood. Yes. Anbu is a unit directly under Hokage, and now Sarutobi Hiruzen has abdicated. How could this Anbu convey Sarutobi Hiruzen's order? Even if it is to be conveyed, it should be the order of the 4th Hokage. Sarutobi Hiruzen is not even Hokage now, why should the Uchiha clan follow his orders? Thinking of this, Uchiha Fugaku said coldly. "Who are you? What is the purpose of pretending to be Anbu?" Root Ninja saw his identity exposed, but he was not angry, but said, "I am a ninja belonging to Danzo-sama's Anbu training department, and I convey orders from Danzo-sama. In short, the order prohibits the Uchiha clan from approaching 9 Tails." Uchiha Fugaku's expression darkened suddenly. As for Danzo, he naturally knows very well that he is a person who is very unkind to their Uchiha clan. Presumably it was intended to use this to put pressure on their Uchiha clan. Don't let Danzo get his way. Uchiha Fugaku was wondering what to do. Aike said with a smile. "You said that what you conveyed was Lord Danzo's order, how about we ask him himself?" The root ninja was startled and couldn't help but look back, and then saw Danzo appearing behind him at some point. "Master Danzo." The root ninja immediately got down on one knee. Afterwards, Danzo, in front of Genbu Ninja, said with a gloomy expression. "The battle line is tight, and I can't take care of the previous order at this time, otherwise, if 9 Tails continues to destroy, the village cannot bear such a huge loss. You hurry up and do rescue work elsewhere, and stop blocking the Uchiha clan." The root ninja is full of doubts about this order. But his loyalty to Danzo left him without the slightest doubt, and he immediately nodded and said. Then, with a whoosh, he left. However, actually, in the eyes of Uchiha Fugaku and others, after the root ninja turned his head, he knelt down and listened to a stone pier. Then he left on his own. Illusion. Uchiha Fugaku immediately realized what Aike had done. A look of surprise flashed in his eyes. "Aike, well done." Uchiha Fugaku praised, and then said to the tribe. "Let's set off quickly, and we must fulfill our duties as a security force. Otherwise, you will fall into the trap of that old Danzo thief." Aike still said with a smile. "Don't bother to fight. The most important thing is to protect the safety of civilians. As the strong, we naturally have to protect the weak. This is what a strong man should do." Uchiha Fugaku nodded and said to everyone. "You heard what Aike said. One must uphold the faith and dignity of our Uchiha clan, and we must not let those young people take advantage of it." The people of the Uchiha tribe immediately echoed excitedly, and then went to the front line under the leadership of Uchiha Fugaku. Aike mixed in with a smile and followed. Deidara, good guy, directly using Kyoka Suigetsu to control his facial features, even a non-existent person can be created. This is too weird. Uchiha Shisui. This ability feels stronger than my distinguished heavenly gods. Pain. Distinguished heavenly gods is called the strongest illusion because he can completely reverse a person's cognition, But Ake's ability is still in the category of illusion, which belongs to the point of confusing the real, and cannot achieve distinguished heavenly gods such a domineering thing. Kakuzu. But even so, Ake is already invincible. As long as this Kyoka Suigetsu cannot be cracked, it will never be possible to know where Ake really hides. Kakashi. Danzo used to use this to suppress the Uchiha clan. Now that the Uchiha clan is participating in the war, Danzo naturally has no reason to take advantage of this, and the Uchiha clan does not have to move outside the village. Onoki. Well, without Danzo's interference, Konoha's power will probably become stronger and stronger. I really feel worried for our Iwagakure. Danzo, get up quickly, take out your ninja world dark momentum. Fourth Raikage. The darkness of the ninja world. I think it is the god who takes the blame. As long as there is a blame in the ninja world, he must be involved in it. Terumi Mei. That's true, our fourth Mizukage is controlled by Uchiha Obito, and it must be sent to Danzo too. Dried Persimmon Ghost Shark. Good guy, is it true that everything is being blamed on Danzo's head? But it feels quite appropriate. Grandma Chio. My grandson's assassination of third Kazekage and defection must also be counted on Danzo's head. If he doesn't force Hitaki Tsukumo to death, I will have the opportunity to avenge my son and daughter-in-law. Naturally, my grandson will not defect because of this. Hanzo of the Salamander, reasonable and impeccable. Haitu. Didn't we just discuss Ake's husband's invincible illusion ability? Why did you suddenly condemn Danzo as a beast? Deidara. Good guy, let's rescind the membership, but I like what you said. When Ake followed the Uchiha tribe to the place where Nine Tails was ravaging, he immediately saw the three Tomo Sharingan in Nine Tails' eyes. It is precisely because of this that when the Uchiha tribe came, they were not welcomed by other ninja tribes, but looked at with suspicious eyes. Uchiha Fugaku naturally also saw it, which made him feel unbelievable. He thought that someone in the clan did these things behind his back. But wanting to control Nine Tails is not an easy thing to do. At least he Uchiha Fugaku can't do it. At this moment, Nine Tails, who is controlled into a frenzy, is crazily destroying, and any ninja who approaches will be crushed by a strong force. Everyone can only attack with long-range ninjutsu, but it has little effect on Nine Tails' huge body. What's going on? Why are there so few people? Where are the ninjas from the Sarutobi and Shimura clans? Why can't you see them? Ake said in a very curious voice. The childlike voice, in this chaotic battlefield, clearly reached the ears of other ninjas. They looked around subconsciously, and suddenly found that there were indeed no ninjas from the Shimura family and the Sarutobi family. Even Sarutobi Hiruzen, who said he would come to support him, didn't see it. Only these civilian ninjas and ninjas from other ninja clans were present. Everyone is not a fool, so they naturally know what's going on. Although it is not clear where the childish voice came from, what they saw with their eyes made all the ninjas' present's impression of the Sarutobi and Shimura clans drop to freezing point. What's the meaning? We're here to die, and you're sitting in the back enjoying the benefits. Why? Thinking of this, the ninjas present immediately lost the will to fight against Nine Tails. The strength of the shot has also been reduced a lot, and he no longer goes all out. Since everyone else can catch fish, why should they go all out? In this situation, Yishi stunned Sarutobi Hiruzen who had just arrived. What's the situation? You're just watching where Nine Tails is doing demolition. What about the will of fire in your hearts? Why don't you sacrifice yourself to light up the village? If you don't go, how can I bring out my greatness? Sarutobi Hiruzen felt extremely puzzled. Just when he was about to do something, an Anbu suddenly appeared and informed him that someone had invaded the place where Nine Tails Jinchuriki was produced. Sarutobi Hiruzen cursed inwardly. This still needs you to tell? People Nine Tails have been here for a long time. There must be an intruder. But since Anbu deliberately came here to talk about this matter, it means that the situation on Uzumaki Kashina's side is imminent without delay. After struggling for a moment, Sarutobi Hiruzen turned his head and rushed towards Jinchuriki. For nothing else, the person who delivered the baby was his wife. And this scene was seen by ninjas who were passive and sabotage. Immediately, all fighting intent dissipated, and they all retreated away from Nine Tails' attack range. Even the former Hokage didn't make a move. What are they doing? Anyway, it is just some buildings that have been destroyed, and it will be fine to rebuild them when the time comes. As long as people are fine, all losses are acceptable. At least, they are not prepared to fight with their lives. At this time, a group of people who did not stop moving suddenly attracted everyone's attention. That is the Uchiha clan who followed Ake's words and kept helping those civilians and injured ninjas. Seeing the Uchiha clan rescuing the civilians and injured ninjas under the claws of Nine Tails, the eyes of the ninjas who stopped their hands suddenly changed. Compared with the invisible Sarutobi and Shimura clans, although the Uchiha clan is a bit arrogant, they are indeed trustworthy as teammates. Although it is not clear what the Sharingan is in the eyes of Nine Tails. But what the Uchiha clan did, they saw with their own eyes. Especially after seeing that several Uchiha clan were seriously injured by the attack of Nine Tails, almost to the point of dying, they finally took action one after another. But instead of attacking the Nine Tails, it's like the Uchiha clan, rescuing those in danger. This moment, the inherent impression of the Uchiha family in other people's minds is gradually being eliminated. Onoki. You actually used this method to reverse everyone's impression of the Uchiha clan. What a good way. Pain. But as long as Danzo is not eliminated, this method is just a drop in the bucket. After all, spreading rumors in the dark is what Danzo is best at. Senju Tobarama. And the arrogance of the Uchiha clan will intensify the conflict with the villagers. Uchiha Madara. So you set up this guard on purpose and handed it over to us Uchiha to manage it, because you know that we will definitely have conflicts with the villagers. Yes or no? Senju Hashirama. Well, I have already said, don't have such a big prejudice against the Uchiha family, but you always don't listen. Deidara. So the origin of Uchiha's extermination is on Konoha second Hokage? Fourth Raikage. Idiot. Did you just find out? As long as you watch the previous video, don't you know this kind of thing after thinking about it? Grandma Chio. Surprising. You, a muscular guy, can see this? Killer Bee. In fact, it was she who told the eldest brother, Yin brother must not know about this kind of thing. Darui. Master Killer Bee, can you tell me about this? Master Raikage's fist is already hanging on your head? Aike hides in a corner and doesn't attract anyone's attention. Aike is just a child, standing in a very safe place, naturally will not attract the attention of others. Around Aike, there are only a few men specially left by Uchiha Fugaku to protect Aike's safety. So as not to be plotted against by someone from the darkness of the ninja world. But what Uchiha Fugaku didn't know was that Danzo didn't dare to shoot Aike casually at all. Aike just watched leisurely, Nine Tails wreaking havoc right in front of his eyes. The Sharingan in the eyes of Nine Tails is so eye-catching, making Aike realize that the appearance of Nine Tails must be a conspiracy against the Uchiha clan. Maybe more than that. It seems that if you want to figure it out, you have to take action. Aike thought for a while, and then when no one was watching him, the pupils of his eyes suddenly changed into Mangekyo. Then it released a murderous intent towards Nine Tails. Nine Tails immediately sensed it, and turned its huge head. At this moment, the two looked at each other. Aike's pupil power mobilized, and then covered Nine Tails' eyes. Sharingan still appears in the eyes of Nine Tails. However, at this time, Nine Tails is no longer under the control of that mysterious person. Nine Tails controlled by Aike immediately stopped all actions. Sitting on the ground very well behaved, like an extremely huge doll. This sudden move immediately attracted everyone's attention. But they don't know the inside, and they don't know what happened at all. However, Nine Tails is no longer destroying, at least it is a good thing for them. At least they don't need to risk their lives to attack. Now, Nine Tails didn't move, and they didn't dare to attack rashly, for fear of angering Nine Tails who had calmed down, causing Nine Tails to go crazy again. So cute. Aike said softly with a smile. What did you say? Uchiha Iron Tree next to him asked curiously. Aike shook his head and said with a smile, it's okay, I'm just talking to myself. Uchiha Iron Tree didn't continue to be curious, but was alert to the surrounding situation. Because Nine Tails was quiet, the rescue work could start smoothly. More and more people were rescued by the Uchiha clan, and more thanks were given. Next, what are you going to do? Aike waited patiently. That mysterious person will certainly not sit back and watch Nine Tails be brought under control. So there is bound to be action after that. However, what Aike didn't expect was that mysterious person actually used the summoning technique directly to take Nine Tails' summoning away. With a bang, 5 tails turned into white smoke and disappeared in front of everyone. And Aike turned his head and looked behind him, showing a meaningful smile. It turns out that the real target is there. Is it just to attract attention? But now, Nine Tails obeys my orders, will your plan go smoothly? Aike showed a transcendent smile, and he couldn't wait to see what kind of expression that mysterious person would show when facing this situation. Deidara. This mysterious person should be that Uchiha Obito, right? Onoki. Is there a need to guess? It must be that guy. Those who are fooled are almost fools. Kakashi. Oh, Obito, how could you do such a thing to Sensei Minato? Namikaze Minato. Everything is still not good enough for me. Obviously I have the fastest ninjutsu, but I can't always save my disciples. Jiraiya. As a ninja, you must be mentally prepared to face any situation, instead of falling into darkness like this. Obito. I'm ready to die. What I can't accept is Lin's death. Her life is more important than mine. Nohara Lin. But I died voluntarily, because I can't bring disaster to the village. You only saw my death, but you didn't understand why I died. Obito. You did it wrong. Grandma Chio. In the final analysis, the source of everything must be traced back to that guy named Black Zetsu. If it weren't for him, the disaster of the Uchiha clan might not have happened. Pain. No, it will definitely happen, because Senju Tobirama's will is distorted and inherited by Sarutobi Hiruzen and Danzo. They will definitely not let the Uchiha clan go, just like the Senju clan was broken up by them. Kakuzu. That's right, whether there is Black Zetsu or not, the ninja world will never lack guys who use intrigues, and Danzo is the biggest representative of them. Sasuke. Danzo. I will kill him. Shikamaru. Hey, Danzo is still a senior official in the village, isn't it inappropriate for you to say that? Asterisk. Terumi Mei. What's the relationship? What kind of guy is Danzo now? I think you people in Konoha should be very clear, right? Are you willing to keep this kind of guy who does anything for his ends? Tsunade. This kind of scourge is naturally impossible to keep. Scorpion. What about Sarutobi Hiruzen? If it wasn't for his connivance, Danzo wouldn't be able to do so much weight without getting any siege. Orochimaru. Hiruzen Sensei and Danzo are one. If you want to eradicate them, you have to be together. Sarutobi Hiruzen. Traitor. Don't talk nonsense. What did Danzo do have anything to do with me? Sarutobi Hiruzen? Connivance? I didn't know. That guy Danzo didn't tell me anything at all. Hoshigaki Kisame. Don't quibble, we have watched so many videos, do you think anyone will believe your words? Fourth Raikage. Mother-in-law is not at all crisp. Black Soil. Compared with the mess Konoha has, I want to see how Ike will deal with Obito. With Ike here, fourth Hokage and his wife should not die, right? The moment Nine Tails was summoned away, Ike searched for the location of Tongli, and went to Nine Tails immediately. Sneaking all the way, Ike was not blocked by anything. Did not feel any enchantment either. It is enough to show that the enemy has already solved these troubles. When he got close enough, what he saw was a confrontation between the two sides. A mysterious man wearing a spiral pattern mask holds a child in his hands. On the other side, fourth Hokage is holding a very weak woman. Looks like I came just in time. Nine Tails, still obediently sitting not far away. Without Ike's order, Nine Tails would naturally not move around. However, Dai Cho who attacked was dumbfounded. Obviously they have already controlled Nine Tails, but what's going on now? Originally, I wanted to pull Nine Tails to break the current balance, but Nine Tails lost control? Who exactly? Obito couldn't figure it out. Among the people of the Uchiha clan, there should be no existence with higher pupil power than him. But the truth was right in front of Obito's eyes. Nine Tails, it was indeed out of his control. Deidara, ha ha ha. Sure enough, this guy Obito is completely confused. Onoki. The balance has not been broken, but Obito, who has a hostage, still has the upper hand. Naruto. Huh? So that child is me. Damn it. You use me to threaten mom and dad. Jiraiya. People who have fallen into darkness always try to complete their deeds by any means. Unfortunately, I am not in the village at this time, otherwise such a thing will not happen. Tsunade. It's not that you are going to write your inexplicable novel. Just because of this, how many things have you missed? Orochimaru. Just because of the prophecy given by that toad. The so-called fatalism. How ridiculous. Danzo. HMPH. This Ike is Uchiha, he must also want Hokage's position. How could he save the fourth generation? Terumi Mei. It's really strange, I haven't spoken for so long, I thought you were dead with. Grandma Chio. It is extremely arrogant to guess other people's thoughts with one's own heart, and perhaps it is for this reason that Danzo does so many outrageous things, it is simply insane. Fourth Raikage. Let them sit in this position. I don't know if Konoha's brains are flooded, and I don't know why they are. Uchiha Fugaku. Senju Tobirama is to blame for all this. If he hadn't appointed him, why would Sarutobi Hiruzen be third Hokage? Uchiha Hikaru. That's right. Senior Ming Jing is also a disciple of Senju Tobirama, but he didn't think about Senior Mirror at all. It's completely out of fear for our Uchiha clan. Senju Tobirama. If Kagami stood up and spoke first at that time, I would definitely have given him the position of Hokage. I never thought that Sarutobi, who had high hopes, would change from a slasher to the current useless look. Uchiha Madara. What's the use of talking so much now? And isn't the security team a trap you specially set up for us Uchiha clan? With this thing here, what else do you have to say? Obito was dumbfounded, but Namikaze Minato was not dumbfounded. When Nine Tails appeared, his heart sank. But Nine Tails didn't move, which made Namikaze Minato very puzzled. Why? The tail doesn't even have the slightest tendency to attack. And looking at it like this, the person opposite didn't know what was going on. Things took a turn for the better. Namikaze Minato realized this immediately. However, now is not the time to act. Naruto's safety must be ensured before he can move. Namikaze Minato believes that things will definitely turn around before long. Uzumaki Kushina didn't think so much, she just looked sadly at the snatched child, and looked at Obito with anger and resentment in her eyes. This is the instinct of being a mother. If it weren't for worrying about hurting the child, Uzumaki Kushina would have punched him. At this moment, a sudden voice startled everyone. Yo! It's so lively here. A laughing voice came into the ears of the three of them. Obito was startled, and subconsciously turned his head. And at this moment, Namikaze Minato instantly threw out a kunai. When attacked, she instinctively uses Kamui Hollow's ability. But kunai wasn't attacking at all, but for Namikaze Minato to be able to divert. Moment. Namikaze Minato came to Obito's side, reached out and snatched the child from the troublemaker. Obito saw that the child was about to be sucked into the space with him, but was taken away by Namikaze Minato, and suddenly shouted furiously. Who is it? Obito emerges 10 meters away. Then he stared at Aike who suddenly appeared, his face under the mask was extremely cold. A member of the Uchiha clan. A child. How dare you show up here and ruin my good deeds? You are dead. Aike looked at each other with a smile, especially Sharingan behind the only hole in the mask, still guessing the identity of the other party. Namikaze Minato stood in front of Aike with an extremely serious expression. You can't succeed in front of me. As for the child, it has been handed over to Mother Uzumaki Kushina. Uzumaki Kushina held Naruto tightly, fearing that the child would be snatched away again. His eyes were fixed on Obito too. Obito said coldly. So what if you're the fastest? It doesn't mean anything unless you touch me. Namikaze Minato frowned. The two had fought once before, and despite their rich experience, Namikaze Minato punched him hard. However, Namikaze Minato still has a deep understanding of the difficulty of the opponent's ninjutsu. Right now, if the other party maintains the situation where the contact is invalid, then any of their attacks will be meaningless. Instead, it was Aike, who asked with a smile. You must be from our Uchiha clan, right? However, I really don't know who has the pupil power that can control Nine Tails. Even the current patriarch, Mr. Fugaku, can't do it. I'm curious, what exactly is your identity? Obito snorted coldly, and immediately took out the identity he used to bluff people. I am Uchiha Madara. Saying that, Wei Wei raised her head and looked at Chen proudly. Although his face was completely covered by the mask. But this proud posture is indeed very similar to Uchiha Madara. Namikaze Minato was startled immediately, and Aike's unbelievable voice came from next to his ear. Bullshit. If you are the legendary ninja god, how could the pupil power controlling Nine Tails be overridden by me so easily? Wearing this mask and pulling the tiger's skin, doesn't it show that the identity you said is false? It seems that I'd better tear off your mask and see for yourself who you are. As he said that, a few more kunai appeared in Aike's hand. Swish swish swish. Kunai threw it immediately, but was easily dodged by Obito with Hollow. Then, Obito said sarcastically, HMPH, with this kind of attack method, I still want to hurt. Before Obito finished speaking, he was punched and flew out. Obito in the air suddenly turned around and found that Namikaze Minato appeared behind him at some point. It's kunai. Obito understood immediately, but fell into another doubt. Obviously kunai was thrown out by this Uchiha brat. How could Namikaze Minato still be able to use Flying Thunder God? Soon, Ake's sarcastic voice reached Otada's ears. Idiot, have you forgotten what I just said? My pupil technique is above yours. Obito's eyes tightened suddenly. He remembered that his pupil power controlling 9 tails had been overridden. That is to say, the Uchiha kid in front of him has stronger pupil power than him? How can this be? But the facts are in front of us. Obito couldn't help but not believe it, and it could also explain why Namikaze Minato suddenly appeared behind him. Because he has been under the illusion. Cold sweat broke out on Obito's forehead. Illusion in the body, but did not notice the slightest abnormality. That was enough to startle Obito. In the current situation, if he continues to stay for a long time, it may be a problem whether he can leave or not. Time is running out for Obito. Obito did not hesitate too much, and directly resorted to Kamui and left the scene. With Kamui's unreasonable hollow ability, Obito's departure was not hindered by anything. But Namikaze Minato didn't dare to relax in the slightest. I'm afraid Obito will come back with a carbine. At this time, Ake came to the side of Uzumaki Kushina with a smile on his face. Is this the child of the 4th generation? What's his name? Uzumaki Kushina turned to look at Ake and said. Naruto, Namikaze Naruto. Ake nodded with a smile and said. It's really a cute child, especially the beard on his face. Uzumaki Kushina's heart tightened. She knew that the beard on Naruto's face was caused by her status as Jinchuriki. This made her feel a little guilty. Because of her, Naruto has been different from others since he was a child. Although Ake said he was cute, Uzumaki Kushina must have some grudges in his heart. At this time, Namikaze Minato, who was vigilant and didn't notice any other movements, came over. It looks like he really backed off. Thank you this time, Ake. Ake frowned, looked at Namikaze Minato and said. You know me? Although Namikaze Minato is Hokage now, logically there is no one he doesn't know. But Ake thinks that he has always been very low-key, and he didn't have any outstanding performance on the battlefield to make others remember him. Not to mention that the Uchiha tribe watched him firmly, barely letting others touch themselves. Under such circumstances, Namikaze Minato, who had only met him a few times on the battlefield, was able to remember himself. Namikaze Minato said with a smile. Of course I remember you, we met on the battlefield. Although I don't communicate much, I only remember Kakashi who can appear on the battlefield at your age. Saying that, Namikaze Minato turned his head and looked around. I don't know how Kakashi's condition is. He should also be on guard around. I don't know if something happened. Alas, the target of this mysterious attack must be the 9 tails in Kushina's body. I don't know how huge the loss in the village is. Namikaze Minato sighed, and then looked at 9 tails who was obediently sitting aside. Thanks to you this time, otherwise I would definitely be pinned on the frontal battlefield, and then both Kushina and Naruto would be in danger. Ake nodded with a smile, then looked at 5 tails and said. What are you going to do with this guy? Although I can control it all the time, those old stubborn people in the village definitely don't want to see it. Namikaze Minato said, I've made up my mind. This time, I will seal it. Uzumaki Kushina looked at Namikaze Minato worriedly. But, 9 tails it. Namikaze Minato hugged his wife with a smile and said softly. Don't worry, I'll be fine. Also, I plan to divide the power of 9 tails into 2 parts, and put 1 part in Naruto's body. If Naruto has the power of 9 tails in his body, he can become a bargaining chip for one side. Once something happens to the 2 of us, the village will not leave Naruto alone. Uzumaki Kushina's eyes widened. You mean? Namikaze Minato's gentle face slowly disappeared, and there was a chill in the direction of the village. The barrier of the village was found and even cracked so easily. Do you think it is possible without the support of insiders? It seems that we have to be more careful in the days to come. Uzumaki Kushina nodded and accepted Naruto in his arms. That's right. About this matter, Ake, you. Namikaze Minato suddenly remembered that there was a person from the Uchiha clan beside him. He looked up suddenly and found that Ake had long since disappeared. Ake was gone when Namikaze Minato hugged Kushina. He didn't want to be a big light bulb. Back on the street, people have returned to their homes in an orderly manner. On the way, Ake saw Uchiha Itachi who was holding his younger brother, so he stepped forward to say hello. How? No injuries? Uchiha Itachi said sternly. No, brother Ake. Ake nodded and said with a smile. Then let's go back. Namikaze Minato. There is a world where I survived? Kushina. Finally, can I watch Naruto grow up with my own eyes? Woo. Terumi May. It's really not easy, but at a young age, Aike was able to surpass Uchiha Obito in pupil power. God. Onoki. And the ability of this pupil technique is really weird. As long as you don't want to, others can't confirm Aike's position at all. Orochimaru. The key is on the battlefield. Aike even tested it with the Hyuga family, even the white eyes can't see through his pupil technique. Naruto. Huh? My parents are still alive. Grandma Chio. Now, Naruto will have a complete childhood. Jiraiya. With the company of his parents, Naruto will definitely become better. Tsunade. Maybe, but it's also possible that Naruto is arrogant because of his parents' identity. Shikamaru. I believe Naruto will not. After all, his nature is very kind, or too kind. As long as the fourth Hokage is around, this kindness cannot be distorted. Luju. Your words are too absolute, Shikamaru. If it is Aike, it is obviously not so difficult to twist Naruto's will. Deidara. That's right. Anything in front of me, Master Aike, it's not a problem. Kakuzu. Now that fourth Hokage is still alive, the Uchiha Genocide Knight will probably not appear in a few years, right? Pain. No, Danzo and Sarutobi Hiruzen are still alive. They will definitely not sit back and watch the Uchiha clan grow, especially with Aike. It will only intensify their idea of eradicating the Uchiha clan. Scorpion. Aike's power is too strong, which makes them afraid. Conan. And Obito certainly won't let it go. The Nine Tails Rebellion did little harm. Except for the dozen or so unlucky ones who didn't have time to escape at the beginning and were directly crushed to death. All injured people received timely medical treatment. Moreover, the participation of the Uchiha family in the rescue also further reduced the casualties. Except that there seemed to be more collapses, the losses were still within an acceptable range. The next day, after sorting out the bodies of all the victims and burying them, everyone wore black clothes to pay homage to the dead. Afterwards, life returned to peace as usual. Of course, these are just for ordinary Konoha civilians. For the Uchiha family, the recent period can be said to be on the cusp. Because of the previous rescue operations, the image of the Uchiha clan has been greatly recognized. But soon, rumors began to spread in the village. It is said that the people who controlled Nine Tails to attack the village were members of the Uchiha clan, and the actions of the Uchiha clan were self-directed and acted out, in order to deceive the ignorant masses and improve their image. Soon, rumors began to spread. Public opinion in the village regarding the Uchiha clan has become polarized. One group is people who have been rescued by the Uchiha clan, or who have seen the Uchiha clan save lives with their own eyes. They firmly believe that the Nine Tails Rebellion is not the fault of the Uchiha clan. The other party believes that it must be related to the Uchiha clan, and claims that the Sharingan in the eyes of Nine Tails is the best evidence. In fact, this point of view can hold a firm foothold because the Sharingan in Nine Tails' eyes is too obvious. In the end, Namikaze Minato stood up and made a special announcement declaring that this matter had nothing to do with the Uchiha clan. It was a conspiracy from outside the village. The purpose is to split the relationship between the Uchiha clan and the village. Aike is sitting at home, but relevant information has already reached his ears. At this time, hearing Namikaze Minato's words, Aike shook his head slightly, with a faint smile on his face. Sure enough, it's still too naive. Perhaps on the battlefield, you can be decisive, but unfortunately you are not suitable to sit in that position. Rescuing Namikaze Minato is just Aike's handy move, and it can also lick Sarutobi Hiruzen and Danzo. Why not do it? However, facing Sarutobi Hiruzen and Danzo's despicable methods in private, Aike is not optimistic about Namikaze Minato. You take everyone in the village too seriously. And they just see you as a stumbling block. You don't want to hit them, but they are eager to kill you, don't you realize? A gleam of regret flashed in Aike's eyes. If things go on like this, Aike is sure that Namikaze Minato will be killed by the trap set by Danzo. Of course, in terms of Namikaze Minato's strength, the probability of this matter is not too high. The more likely outcome is that Namikaze Minato becomes a puppet Hokage. With Namikaze Minato's platform, the Uchiha clan's wind rating was turned around a bit, but not by much. As the conflicts between the security forces and the villagers increased on weekdays, there were more and more opinions on the Uchiha clan. Although living in the same village, the people of Konoha no longer regard the Uchiha clan as companions. They all stared at Uchiha with hatred, as if the two sides had an irresolvable hatred. But, actually not. But this is the power of public opinion. Kakashi. Scared. Orochimaru. Do you think of your father? He was killed by such public opinion, and behind the scenes are Mr. Sarutobi and Danzo. Tsunade. Two people who have distorted the will of fire may not be able to understand Tsukumo's bond with Konoha. Kakuzu. If Konoha did not have Sarutobi Hiruzen and Danzo, I am afraid that the ninja world would have been unified long ago. Scorpion. If it weren't for these two people holding back, relying on Konoha's strong background, even if he couldn't unify the ninja world, at least he wouldn't be in such an aggrieved state. Grandma Chio. Two old bastards who have done more than succeed in their affairs and have more than ruined their affairs. They might as well die early. Terumi Mei. Just like the old saying, good people don't live long, and evil people last for thousands of years. These two bad guys who are so bad that they bleed will definitely not die so easily. Pen. You were right. In this way, a year passed. Another big thing happened to Konoha. Orochimaru, who broke the village rules to study the forbidden technique, defected. Jiraiya also left the village in order to recover Orochimaru. Plus Tsunade, who has left Konoha long ago and is wandering around. The Sannin of Konoha all left the village. Konoha's overall strength suddenly dropped a lot. But fortunately, in peacetime, there is no need to be too anxious. Although there are occasional frictions on the border, there will be no major wars in the short term. Soon, Orochimaru's defection was suppressed by those who wanted to, and the incident gradually subsided. After that, it was a few years of peaceful daily life. Another year passed. Uchiha Itachi officially started her ninja school career. As a genius of the Uchiha clan, he quickly dominated the school. And in the following year, he graduated from ninja school. This record is only 1 year behind Ike and Kakashi. 4 years later, Uchiha Itachi's younger brother, Uchiha Sasuke, also attended ninja school. But Sasuke's qualifications are also good, and he is also among the best in the school. As for why Sasuke did not win the championship, it is because there is another outstanding talent in the class. Namikaze Naruto. As the son of Namikaze Minato, Naruto's qualifications needless to say. Early on, under the guidance of his parents, he tried to communicate with Nine Tails and obtained the power of Nine Tails chakra, so Naruto did not need to worry about the uncontrollable Nine Tails chakra interfering with his veins. This also led to Naruto learning ninjutsu very quickly. Although it is worse than Sasuke in taijutsu, it is stronger than Sasuke in ninjutsu. In particular, there is also the sealed ninjutsu of the Uzumaki family that I learned from my mother, and I am invincible one-on-one. Ike can see Sasuke walking home with a sad face every time. Every time Sasuke saw Ike's smiling face, he would make a grimace and run away. Apparently Sasuke doesn't like Ike. In Sasuke's heart, his brother Uchiha Itachi is the strongest. And those who compete with Uchiha Itachi, such as Ike and Shisui, Sasuke, are very annoying. Because when they show up, Sasuke will lose the time to practice with his brother Uchiha Itachi. That's all. Time passed day by day. In a blink of an eye, Sasuke was 9 years old. There's an undercurrent in Konoha village. A conspiracy against the Uchiha clan is being prepared and ready to be closed. First, the genius of the Uchiha clan, Uchiha Shisui, known as the Instant Shisui, committed suicide. The people of the Uchiha clan set their suspicious eyes on Uchiha Itachi. Because Uchiha Itachi's behavior of joining Anbu made the Uchiha clan very dissatisfied. The higher-ups in the clan even sent Shisui to visit Itachi. At this juncture, Shisui committed suicide, and people will naturally look suspiciously at Uchiha Itachi. But people have no evidence to prove this. The death of Uchiha Shisui is like a dark curtain, hanging over the heads of all Uchiha people. A sense of imminent rain hangs over the Uchiha tribe. Deidara. Huh? With Master Ike here, how did Shisui die? Onoki. This is not surprising. Although Ike is very strong, he is also a human being, and it is impossible to cover everything. Terumi Mei. Danzo must have done it secretly. Kakuzu. Besides this old guy, there is no one else. Dried Persimmon Kisame. Is Mr. Itachi still going to rebel? But can he beat Ike? Scorpion. Obviously I can't beat it, so I'm not worried at all. Naruto. Ike can definitely stop Sasuke's brother, so Sasuke won't become an orphan. Kushina. As expected of my son, he is always considerate of others. Grandma Chio. I'm really curious, what is Ike going to do? Now it seems that Ike doesn't move at all. Pain. A shrewd person like Ake cannot fail to notice the problem, but he is obviously waiting for an opportunity. Fourth Raikage. What's the use of talking so much? Wouldn't it be over if you continue to read? Not long after, Uchiha Itachi, who witnessed his friend die in front of his own eyes, finally made up his mind. He wants to eradicate the Uchiha clan completely to avoid greater sacrifices in the future. Then, when a mysterious person wearing a mask attracted the attention of the village, he came to the Uchiha clan's residence alone. But, not long after he walked in, discovered some abnormalities. It was too quiet. It was obviously not time to go to bed at this time, but there was no smell of people on the road or in the room. This abnormal situation immediately aroused the vigilance of Uchiha Itachi. He looked around and moved forward cautiously. After turning a corner, I finally saw a person. Looking at the man who was always smiling, Uchiha Itachi was startled, and then kept the utmost vigilance. So it's you. Ake, you already know what I'm going to do. Ake kept smiling and said with a slight sigh. Although I noticed that you are different from the general Uchiha people, I never expected that you are so stupid. Uchiha Itachi frowned and said, I did this for the sake of the village. If the clan continues to fight with the village, it will inevitably cause a large-scale fight. At that time, both the clan and the village will suffer. So, only by completely eliminating one side can this crisis be resolved. The smile on Ake's face remained the same. So, you chose to eliminate your clansmen to protect the stability of the village. It seems that Shui's death still didn't make you realize the real reason of the matter. Uchiha Itachi was taken aback. The real reason? Is there something else behind Shisui's death? But he killed himself in front of me, Ake sighed and said. No matter how much I tell you now, you won't listen. Why don't you stop talking about this stupid move of yours first? Uchiha Itachi immediately pulled out the short sword vigilantly. He naturally knew how talented Ake, whom the village had known since he was a child, was a genius. Every day at home, his father would tell him how powerful Ake is, how talented Linlian is. Therefore, Uchiha Itachi did not dare to be careless even if he had obtained the Mangekyo Sharingan. It happens that I just got these eyes, let's use Ake to test his power. As Uchiha Itachi said, his pupils changed suddenly. Tsukuyomi. Uchiha Itachi's left eye widened suddenly and aimed at Ake. Moment. The two came to a unique scene. Seeing this, Uchiha Itachi breathed a sigh of relief, and stepped forward to face Ake, who was chained to a wooden frame. Here, time is extremely slow, and a day here is just a moment to the outside. But here, the pain you can feel is extremely real, real enough to make your spirit collapse. Saying that, a sharp blade appeared in Uchiha Itachi's hand. Sorry. With words of apology in his mouth, Uchiha Itachi didn't hesitate, and directly inserted the blade into Ake's body. Ah! Ake suddenly let out a scream. However, the sound stopped abruptly. The pain on Ake's face disappeared and turned into a sarcastic smile. You think you've won? What gave you the illusion? Uchiha Itachi was startled. The whole person took 2 steps back immediately. Things were beyond his expectation. In his expectation, the person who fell for Tsukuyomi should not have the slightest ability to resist. But now, Ake doesn't look like a controlled person at all. It is impossible for anyone to be pierced by a sharp knife so easily and freely as Ake. Ake was still bound to the wooden frame, with a sharp blade stuck in his chest. But Ake completely ignored his current situation and looked at Uchiha Itachi ironically. You just got these eyes, do you think you are invincible? Today I will show you what the real Mangekyo is. In an instant, Feng Shui took turns. The person standing on the ground became Ake, and the person tied to the wooden frame became Uchiha Itachi instead. How can this be? Uchiha Itachi couldn't believe it, it was his illusion. Ake said with a faint smile, what is impossible? Your pupil technique is okay for people with weaker pupils than you, but it will be greatly reduced when faced with someone like me who has stronger pupils than you. And, from the very beginning, you only see me as I let you see. Do you understand me? Uchiha Itachi's pupils locked tightly. While not as smart in other ways, Uchiha Itachi is on the line when it comes to combat IQ. He immediately realized that he had been under the illusion from the very beginning. Quiet streets, uninhabited houses, etc., are all part of the illusion. Even the current Tsukuyomi scene is probably just an illusion performed by Ake. Realizing this, Uchiha Itachi's face suddenly became extremely bitter. He is so naive. He thought that he could deal with the members of a clan without anyone noticing. But before it started, Ake had already noticed his purpose. Then, watching the blade suddenly appear in Ake's hand, Uchiha Itachi's eyelids twitched. Ah, the shrill screams echoed in this mysterious space. When the illusion space is lifted, Uchiha Itachi's eyes have become blurry, and he is not far from a mental breakdown. After all, there are far more ways for Ake to torture people than for Uchiha Itachi. Uchiha Itachi, who was kneeling on the ground, looked at Ake with blurred eyes. He knew that his plan had completely failed. Watching Ake approaching in a trance, Uchiha Itachi spoke intermittently. Would you kill me, a traitor to this clan? Ake walked up to Uchiha Itachi, found a stone pier and sat down with an everlasting smile on his face. You still don't get the point of the matter. Uchiha Itachi suddenly felt someone approaching him from behind. But at this time, he has no energy to manage. Someone behind him grabbed his arm and pulled him up from the ground. Itachi, your thinking is wrong. Hearing this extremely familiar voice, Uchiha Itachi's eyes widened in disbelief, and he turned around suddenly. Shisui? But you already. Shisui gave an apologetic smile. Sorry, but it was actually a bet between me and Ake. Uchiha Itachi was dumbfounded. Bet? But you were not killed by Mr. Danzo. Do you still call that guy an adult now? Ake interrupted Uchiha Itachi's words. His voice was so cold that it made people wake up instantly. Shisui sighed and said, It is true that I was attacked by Danzo, but with Ake's warning in advance, I escaped unscathed. However, at this moment Ake made a bet with me. When I die in front of you, what choice will you make? I think you will protect the clan and the village well. And Ake thinks, you're definitely sacrificing both. Shisui looked at Uchiha Itachi with a complicated expression, and said with a sigh. Ake 1. Are you really going to sacrifice your family? Even with so many reminders, are you still unable to see clearly the real problems facing the clan and the village? Uchiha Itachi looked puzzled. However, the relationship between the clan and the village is now in dire straits. If it is not curbed, it will only become a bigger tragedy. Shisui sighed, shook his head regretfully, and walked to Ake's side. Ake propped his chin with his hand and said with a smile. You still don't see the crux of the matter. Then let me ask you. Uchiha Itachi urgently needs to figure out why the two people's thoughts are so different from their own. What's going on? Is there something I don't understand? Ake said without haste. The first question. Why do you think the relationship between the clan and the village has come to this point? Uchiha Itachi replied immediately. Because of the arrogance of the clan. Wrong. Ake shook his head and said, It's because someone deliberately sowed discord. Uchiha Itachi's eyes widened suddenly. Ake said slowly. Someone took advantage of the pride and self-esteem of the Uchiha clan, so a special organization called the Guard was set up to maintain the safety of the village. But, as you have seen, when the Uchiha family is enforcing the law, they don't care about so many details. They only care about the result. So, the conflict between the tribe and the civilians has become more and more violent. However, it is never us who make mistakes, but those who make mistakes. What we do is the content of our work. Uchiha Itachi retorted with a frown. However, some behaviors of the clansmen are really unacceptable. It's obviously just a trivial matter, but they treat fellow villagers as if they were criminals. Because they are criminals, Ake said lightly. Don't forget that it is because they made a mistake that the guards will catch them. Since you made a mistake, why are you not a criminal? Uchiha Itachi couldn't agree more. But, that's just them arguing. For this kind of thing, just a verbal warning is enough. Why should they be arrested in the guard? This time, Ake didn't speak, but looked towards Jungchu. Shisui sighed deeply and said, Have you ever read the work content of the police force? Anyone who picks quarrels and causes trouble and fights will be arrested and punished with closed doors for 1 day. This is one of the rules that the second Hokage set for the guard. Among them, there has never been an option for verbal warning, you know? Uchiha Itachi's eyes widened suddenly. You mean, second Hokage, he. Ake said with a smile. It seems that you don't know it all. But it's no wonder that you have been indoctrinated with some wrong ideas since you were a child, and it's normal for you to dislike your clansmen. But, from this point of view, who is the arrogant person between you who don't know anything about the clansmen and us? Uchiha Itachi fell silent. Indeed, he only saw one side, with narrow eyes, and never really saw the Uchiha clan clearly. Ake continued. Next question. What do you think is the source of the recent tension between the clan and the village? Uchiha Itachi opened his mouth and was about to answer, but suddenly hesitated. Ake and Shisui waited patiently. Uchiha Itachi thought for a while, and finally said the answer in his heart. Because the tribe enforced the law according to the rules of the garrison, the tough measures were unacceptable to the villagers, which further exacerbated the tension between the two parties. Wrong. Aike shook his head again and said. It's because someone is deliberately guiding behind the scenes. Uchiha Itachi was dumbfounded. Guide? Shisui sighed. It's Danzo. Uchiha Itachi looked blank. I don't know what's going on. Aike said slowly. First of all, Danzo inherited the legacy of second Hokage against our clan, so he always wanted to eradicate our Uchiha clan. So, he took advantage of the responsibilities of the police force to secretly send people to incite the public while the police force was enforcing the law, causing everyone's dissatisfaction with the police force. Afterwards, under my instruction, Shisui revealed the power of his pupil technique, distinguished heavenly gods, and Danzo took the bait, and specially asked Shisui to go to a place with few people, and brought many men to ambush him. He's afraid of Shisui's pupil art, has a greedy desire to have Shisui's eyes. Now, do you understand what the real cancer in the village is? It's the high-level members of Konoha, those old guys who eat vegetarian meals with their corpses, polluting this big tree with their rotten bodies, causing the tree to rot continuously from the roots, and finally collapsed. Uchiha Itachi's face was full of bitterness and deep fear. He has figured it out. If he really eradicated the Uchiha clan tonight, he would be the sinner of the clan and even Konoha. Aike said with a smile. Understood? So do you know what to do now? Uchiha Itachi shook his head blankly. What do I do? Aike said with a smile. Of course, I cleaned up the insects on the Konoha Wen tree. Deidara. I just said that with Master Aike around, how could Shisui die so easily? Onoki. It seems that Aike still relied on Aike's pupil technique to make Uchiha Itachi mistakenly think that Shisui is dead. Kakashi. More than that. You can't be perfect if you only deceive Itachi. Aike even deceived everyone. Might Guy. Aike's illusion is amazing. Kakuzu. After thinking about it, it seems that Danzo's life is not going well. Orochimaru. This is what he deserves. Tsunade. Danzo got what he deserved. What about you, because? Jiraiya. You who have done so many human experiments and killed so many of your own race, Orochimaru, have you ever thought about atone for the sins of those you killed? Scorpion. Orochimaru certainly wouldn't have such an idea. Naruto. In this way, will Sasuke not be an orphan? Great. Shikamaru. In this video, neither you nor Sasuke are orphans. Obito, who attracted Anbu's attention, suddenly retreated after entanglement for a while, intending to go to the Uchiha tribe to reclaim the Sharingan. Then, he was stunned to find that nothing happened to the Uchiha tribe. Uchiha Itachi, who promised to eradicate the Uchiha clan with him, is even missing. All the Uchiha clan are alive and well. This suddenly made Obito a little overwhelmed. What's going on? Why is everything normal in the clan land? Just when Obito was puzzled, a familiar voice came from behind him. You look curious, don't you? Why should it be a lifeless clan land, as if nothing happened? Obito was startled suddenly. He didn't even notice that someone came behind him, and turned his head quickly. It's you. Obito's pupils constricted suddenly, and he immediately understood what was going on. You stopped Itachi? What happened to Itachi? Did you kill him? Aike said with a smile. How is it possible? I just told him that Tienmo was the right choice. Obito frowned. The right choice? The choice he should make most is to prevent the conflict between the Uchiha clan and Konoha. Aike said with a sneer. That's the choice you want him to make, isn't it? For your dark secret? Are you afraid that other Uchiha will stop your plans in the future? Obito's heart suddenly felt cold, as if Aike's eyes could penetrate his heart and see through all his thoughts. You. What exactly are you? Obito asked in a trembling voice. Aike returned to smiling. Me? Of course I'm just one of the Uchiha clan. I think you used to be too, but unfortunately you have betrayed us. Although I don't know who you are, I advise you not to step into the land of the Uchiha clan. Here, you are not welcome. Pooh. A sudden attack came from behind Obito. Obito's face was full of shock. Watching Aike slowly dissipate in front of his eyes, he realized that he was still under Aike's illusion. Aike, who had already unknowingly came behind him, gave him a fatal blow. Aike's arm pierced Obito's chest. This kind of injury, no one can survive. But Obito's body is also unusual. His body is often covered with a white zetsu, which can help Obito avoid fatal attacks at critical moments. Right now, White Zetsu helped to move Obito's internal organs, but Ake's attack formed a penetrating wound, and did not hurt the internal organs. After that, Obito didn't dare to say more, and directly launched Kamui to run away. This kind of opponent who can't judge the position and can only be beaten passively is really too difficult to deal with. Obito thought his Kamui was weird enough, but he didn't expect to have even more weird powers. Run away? Ake looked at Obito with some regret as Uzumaki left. Then he looked at his palm, which was still covered in blood. It's a strange body that automatically adjusted the position of its internal organs to avoid fatal attacks. However, it's better to go towards the head next time. Without the head, he will definitely not be able to live. Although Ake regretted not being able to solve Obito this time, he didn't take it too seriously. As long as Obito can't crack his Kyoka Suigetsu, Ake is forever invincible. Whoosh! A figure suddenly appeared, and the water came to Ake's side. Need me to investigate? Ake shook his head and said. No, your suspended animation allows you to hide behind. How did I go about what I told you? Shisui nodded. It's over, Danzo is completely under my control. Ake said with a smile. That's good. As long as Danzo is under control, root is power in our hands. Where's Itachi? How's he feeling? Shisui smiled slightly. After learning the truth of the matter, he has figured it out completely. Now, the recognition of Konoha in his heart seems not as strong as before. Ake said with a smile. It's normal, after all, Konoha is a big tree that needs to be trimmed properly. Those rotten branches and leaves should be cut off as soon as possible, so as not to continue to be absorbed by nutrients. Shisui looked at Ake, and couldn't help feeling a chill in his heart. Obviously Ake is smiling, but Shui can't feel the smile. As if I was in a world of ice and snow, my whole body was cold. Is it going according to plan? Asked Shisui. Ake turned his head with a smile. Of course, otherwise what are we doing controlling that old guy Danzo? Isn't it just for this moment? Shisui nodded, then left in an instant. Fourth Raikage. Ake, what other plans does he have? Still need to use the old Danzo thing? Kakuzu. It is definitely necessary to use the power of the root. Could it be that you want to use the power of the root to kill Sarutobi Hiruzen? Then deal with Danzo? Onoki. It is indeed a good plan, but I feel it is more than that. Uchiha Madara. Huh, so much nonsense, don't you know if you continue to read? Senju Hashirama. Trust Ake, he will definitely not do excessive things to the villagers of Konoha. Senju Tobarama. Hurry up and drive those unfilial children out of here, it's really embarrassing. Pain. Looking at it this way, the culprit for Konoha's fall to this point is actually Senju Tobarama. Scorpion. Indeed, look at the guards he found, all of them are talents among talents, and they are talents who specialize in targeting their own family members. Hidan. It can make people die laughing, ha ha ha. The genocide night of the Uchiha clan was resolved quietly. Not many people know about it. Ake, who had already noticed that the village was going to attack the tribe, set up the arrangement early. First, make a bet with Shisui that Danzo will impress him. Shisui didn't believe it, but was soon surrounded by Danzo. Fortunately, with Ake's warning in advance, Shisui's eyes were not taken away. However, he also understands that he alone cannot change the gap between Uchiha and the village. So, he obeyed Ake's order, and with Ake's help, he pretended to commit suicide in front of Uchiha Itachi, so that Uchiha Itachi could open Mangekyo Sharingan. Afterwards, Ake judged that Uchiha Itachi might be brainwashed and become a sharp knife for the opponent to deal with the Uchiha clan. So before Uchiha Itachi did it, he used physical means to convince Uchiha Itachi to let him understand what should be done most. After. Let Shisui and Itachi find Danzo. After Shisui's distinguished heavenly gods controlled Danzo, they learned from Danzo's mouth the real reason why Danzo wanted to destroy the Uchiha clan. It's not that the arrogance of the Uchiha clan doesn't fit into Konoha as Uchiha Itachi thought. It's the high-level people in Konoha who are afraid of the Uchiha clan and don't want the powerful Uchiha clan to take power. Also, because Danzo knew a secret technique about Sharingan, he wanted to take Sharingan as his own. Uchiha Itachi almost collapsed on the spot after hearing this. He almost became the butcher knife in the hands of others to slaughter his own people. And he himself thought it was for the good of the village. Until now, Uchiha Itachi didn't understand that everything about Hakiri came from the greed of this man named Danzo. Just when Uchiha Itachi wanted to kill Danzo, Shisui stopped him. Leave him for now, he's still useful. At least until the Uchiha clan's reputation is restored, he and his roots have some role to play. Shisui's words made Uchiha Itachi stop, but looking at Danzo's eyes was full of anger. Can't wait to eat Danzo alive. Under Ake's secret control, some people suddenly appeared in Konoha village. They always tell about the contributions made by the Uchiha clan on the battlefield. And during the Nine Tails Rebellion, the deeds of rescuing others regardless of their own lives. If someone refutes it, they will come up with evidence to prove it. When the security team is performing tasks, when some people are dissatisfied that the security team arrests people indiscriminately, they will also jump out and explain to them the rules of the security team. And emphatically state that these rules are drawn from second Hokage Senju Tobirama. Because of the reverence for the Senju family, when people heard that the rules were made by Senju Tobirama, they immediately did not have such strong resistance. In these little things, the reputation of the Uchiha family is being restored bit by bit. The relationship between the Uchiha clan and Konoha has also been eased. The atmosphere of peace became stronger and stronger in Konoha. Boom. Haha. You lost again. Sasuke. Opposite Sasuke, a blonde boy was laughing with his hands on his hips. Sasuke curled his lips in dissatisfaction, his eyes full of unwillingness. I haven't lost yet. Sasuke got up from the ground and rushed over again. The blonde boy Namikaze Naruto greeted him immediately. Well done. The two immediately fought back and forth. Although they are only 7 or 8 years old, the skill of the two of them may not be comparable to that of an adult. The strength is not weak. After the number theory, Sasuke was once again punched in the cheek by Naruto, and was sent flying far away. Hateful. Sasuke looked at Naruto unwillingly, finally exhausted and passed out. This is a discussion and exchange in the class. But Sasuke is too proud to accept the fact that he is not as good as his peers. Although the injury was not serious, Sasuke fainted from the anger. What angered Sasuke the most was, back then Naruto couldn't beat him, not even the rest of the class. At that time, Sasuke was still the top student in the class. However, ever since Kushina knew that her son was no match for anyone in the class, she went out to negotiate terms with Nine Tails in Naruto. In the end, relying on his outstanding personal charm, the bruised and swollen Jushin had to agree to control his own chakra so as not to disturb Naruto's use of ninjutsu. As a result, Namikaze Naruto, who already had outstanding talent, immediately improved by leaps and bounds under the guidance of his parents. He surpassed Sasuke all of a sudden and became the new number 1 in the class. How can this be accepted by Sasuke? So every time in the actual combat class, Sasuke would deliberately choose to be with Naruto, but he couldn't beat Naruto anyway. This made Sasuke more and more angry, until finally he couldn't help but wonder if he was the genius that others said. Slowly open your eyes. Sasuke found himself lying in the school's infirmary. Woke up. A familiar voice came, with a hint of a smile. This immediately made Sasuke turn his head dissatisfied. After seeing the visitor, Sasuke was even more dissatisfied. Why are you? Brother Itachi. Ike smiled and sat on the chair beside the bed. Your brother is busy with work, don't forget, he is in Anbu. So he asked me to come and teach you. Sasuke didn't appreciate it, he snorted and turned his head away from Ike. I don't want you to teach me. My brother is the strongest ninja in the family. I want to learn from my brother. The smile on Ike's face became more conspicuous. Really? But what would you think if I said that even your brother lost to me? Swish. Sasuke turned over and sat up, his eyes fixed on Ike. Impossible. My brother won't lose. Ike looked at Sasuke with a smile. Everyone in the village knows this, and I am the strongest person in the clan. If your brother didn't ask me, I wouldn't have the time to teach you. After all, your aptitude doesn't look very good. Sasuke's face turned red immediately. What did you say? How dare you underestimate me? Saying that, Sasuke lifted the quilt directly and came towards Ike. The clenched fist came straight for Ike's cheek. However, Sasuke just passed through Ike. Boom. It hurts. Sasuke held his chin, tears welling in his eyes. He didn't expect that at all, causing his chin to hit the floor directly. Such a reckless attack is not something a Uchiha would do. You are not from the Inuzuka family, nor from those families who are good at ninjutsu. We, Uchiha, have our own unique way of fighting. Ike was still sitting in the same position, looking back at Sasuke with a smile. In order to better train Sasuke, Ike took Sasuke to the training ground in the Uchiha tribe. The two stood opposite each other. Ake's posture is very relaxed, with his hands in his pockets and a relaxed smile on his face. Sasuke, on the other hand, put on a posture as if he was facing a big enemy, already holding 2 kunai in his hands. Then, Sasuke suddenly threw a handful of kunai, and the whole person rushed out. Seeing this, Ake couldn't help shaking his head. Such a reckless attack again. Are you really from the Uchiha clan? Are you sure you don't have the blood of the Inuzuka clan, or the Akamichi clan? Facing the attack, Ake simply tilted his head, and Juwu passed by his ear. Sasuke, who was approaching quickly, immediately attacked from below, aiming at the most vulnerable abdomen of the human body. But Ake easily grabbed the arm. Hateful. Sasuke gritted his teeth and wanted to retract his arm, but Ake's palm was like an iron hoop. No matter how much he struggled, it remained motionless. Ake said with a smile, "As a ninja of the Uchiha clan, you'd better get rid of this aggressive way. Remember, we have the strongest observation eyes. Before we confirm the strength of the enemy, we cannot rashly launch an attack. It was a good idea for you to use kunai to test at the beginning, but then it was a failure when you stepped forward to attack yourself." Saying that, Ake let go of Sasuke's palm. Sasuke immediately jumped back and opened the distance. Ake said with a smile, "You have to keep in mind what I said. After all, even your brother is not my match. However, this kind of thing cannot be changed in a short time for you, so, next, I will test your physical strength. Come on. Attack me with all your strength." Sasuke looked at Ake with bloodshot eyes, feeling humiliated. "Ah!" He roared and rushed over. However, at this moment, Uchiha Itachi suddenly appeared and stopped in front of Sasuke. "Sasuke." Sasuke slammed on the brakes, with a surprised expression on his face. "Elder brother." Uchiha Itachi smiled, a smile that was only shown to Sasuke. "Go. Let's go home." When Sasuke heard it, he immediately said happily, regardless of what he was doing just now. "Good. Today you must practice more with me. I must defeat Naruto." Uchiha Itachi smiled and took Sasuke's hand. "Is it Lord Hokage's child? I have to say that he is indeed the child of Lord Hokage, and his talent is really good. But Sasuke, you are not bad. If you calm down and practice hard, you will definitely not be worse than anyone else." Sasuke immediately nodded again and again. However, not 2 steps out yet. The smile on Sasuke's face suddenly froze. There was a puff. A palm penetrated Uchiha Itachi's body, and the bloodshot palm appeared in Sasuke's eyes. Brother." Sasuke looked dazed, not yet aware of what happened. And the expression on Uchiha Itachi's face became extremely painful. Puff. A mouthful of blood was spat out by Uchiha Itachi. Sasuke finally reacted. "Ah!" He let out a scream, as if it was him who was penetrated. At this moment, the owner of the palm withdrew his hand. Uchiha Itachi's body suddenly collapsed weakly. Sasuke looked at Uchiha Itachi in horror. Brother, you, don't die." Uchiha Itachi's eyes were extremely slack, his mouth opened and he whispered. "Quick, run. Run." Sasuke woke up suddenly, turned his head and saw the smiling Ake, and the blood of Uchiha Itachi flowing on his hand. Immediately, Sasuke's pupils constricted, and the color changed suddenly. From black to red, and it became Urguyu from the very beginning. Ake watched this change, and the smile on his face became brighter. Ake is not satisfied with the current result. "Are you still running away, kid?" Sasuke ran away without looking back. Shouting and running. The sudden turn of events prevented him from even noticing many unusual details. For example, because there are no other clansmen in the clanland. Soon, Sasuke ran home. But it was not his parents who were waiting for him, but Ake who was sitting at the door. And, the parents who fell to the ground and did not know whether they were alive or dead. Poof. Sasuke took a few steps back and sat down on the ground. For what? Ake stood up, with a smile still on his face stained with blood. "Of course you are too weak. You are like this, you are embarrassing our Uchiha clan. Either you, or your brother Uchiha Itachi, are too weak. I don't deserve the name of the Uchiha clan at all, and the patriarch couple who gave birth to your 2 brothers are too dereliction of duty. So, I have to let them sleep forever, so as not to stop the development of our Uchiha clan." Sitting on the ground, Sasuke's legs were trembling constantly. Trembling with fear. Can't hear what Ake is saying at all. His eyes flicked back and forth between Ake and his parents on the ground. Fear and anger, the 2 emotions are constantly flowing, and these two emotions also caused his eyes to change again. Ike finally nodded in satisfaction when he saw that the Sharingan in Sasuke's eyes had turned into a three-pointed jade. It is obviously impossible to awaken Sasuke to Mangekyo overnight. Because the negative emotions lurking in Sasuke's heart are too weak, because he was born with too much love. Not enough negativity for him to activate the Mangekyo Sharingan. But it is enough to reach this level. Mangekyo just waits for the next opportunity. So, Ike snapped his fingers lightly. The positions of the two changed for a while. Actually returned to the original training ground. Sasuke was stunned, not understanding what happened. Uchiha Itachi, who was supposed to be on the ground, stood beside him intact, dying. Congratulations, Sasuke. Saying that, he took out a mirror and put it in front of Sasuke. Sasuke took a subconscious look, only to find that his eyes had changed dramatically. Deidara. Sure enough. I knew it was an illusion. Onoki. There it is. Ike is best at helping others open their eyes. But Mangekyo was not opened, which is really puzzling. Fourth Raikage. Indeed, when he was in the Uchiha clan last time, he used illusion to directly help so many children who are younger than the current Sasuke to open Mangekyo, but now there are only 3 hooks. Orochimaru. It should be that the negative emotions in the heart are not enough. According to my observation, only enough negative emotions can cause the eyes of the Uchiha clan to change. Namikaze Minato. It's a cruel way, but at least it's better than actually killing someone. Uchiha Fugaku. I am afraid that only Ike can achieve this level of realistic illusion. The illusion we can do is more to confuse the target, and the purpose is more to fight the enemy. Uchiha Madara. It can only be said that Ike has taken a different approach and achieved what we dreamed of in this way. Kakuzu. In terms of surprises, it never disappoints. Scorpion. Sarutobi Hiruzen stepped down. Danzo was under control. The Uchiha clan was not exterminated, and with Ike in charge, the Uchiha clan may take control of the world again. Terumi may. Not necessarily. This time Ike didn't have the idea of taking his tribe away from Konoha. If he had, he would have already used illusions on a large scale to arm the Uchiha tribe. A single tribe would be able to counter the entire ninja world's strength. Grandma Chio. That's right, and as he said in the video, he wants to repair the sick tree called Konoha, and now he is on the way to repair it. Pain. Compared with the previous video, there will definitely be different changes, let us wait and see. As this, Sharingan? Sasuke stared blankly at the mirror. At this moment he hadn't figured out what was going on at all. Uchiha Itachi's gentle voice reached his ears. I'm so sorry, Sasuke, I just showed you the awful things. But don't worry, it's all fake, I'm fine, my father and mother are intact. Everything is just to open your eyes, the illusion that Ike will use specially. Sasuke looked up blankly and looked at Ike, who was smiling across the way. Illusion? So it was all illusion? It's so real. Ike said with a smile. As I said just now, our Uchiha clan has the strongest observation eyes. But I'm referring to the Sharingan, which you obviously haven't mastered yet. Now that you have Sharingan, the next thing you need to do is to master him proficiently. As long as you master your current Sharingan, there will never be anyone in your age who will be your opponent. Only then did Sasuke slowly come to his senses. I awakened Sharingan. Brother, I've awakened Sharingan. Sasuke suddenly jumped up from the ground, only feeling that there was endless power in his body that he needed to vent. Of course, this is just his illusion. Although the improvement of Sharingan has increased the total amount of chakra, it is more about the improvement of pupil power. Uchiha Itachi nodded to Ike with a smile and said, I'm counting on you for the rest, brother Ike. I'm going to tell my father and mother the good news. Ike nodded and said with a smile, Go ahead, let me drill this little guy for you. Sasuke, who just awakened Sharingan, is also full of fighting spirit. Although he would rather practice with his older brother Uchiha Itachi, he can't wait to fight Ike, who claims to be stronger than Uchiha Itachi. It has to be said that in terms of fighting desire, Sasuke is much more vigorous than other Uchiha clan members. Bring it on. I must impress you, Sasuke said confidently. 10 minutes later. Ike smiled and looked at Sasuke lying on the ground, panting. You really impress me. It's the first time I've seen Uchiha who is still so weak after awakening Sanguyu. Sasuke thumped the ground in dissatisfaction, but there was no rebuttal. During these 10 minutes, Sasuke tried his best, but he couldn't touch a hair on Ike. Instead, he was constantly knocked down by Ike. Even Ike didn't use his Sharingan. This is the most unacceptable thing for Sasuke. The huge gap between the two made Sasuke deeply understand that the current self has not become much stronger. At least, not enough to erase the age difference between him and Ike. But Rao is so, Sasuke has also been greatly improved. Your foundation is still too weak, and now your body can't keep up with your eyes at all. In this case, even if you see the opponent's movement, your body has no time to react. All you can do is watch the enemy hit you, but you can't dodge it. Ike pointed out the shortcomings of Sasuke. At this time, Uchiha Itachi, who had been going back and forth, came back and said with a smile. I need your help in this regard. Ike sighed helplessly. I don't have that much free time. Forget it, no matter how you say it is the child of the patriarch, and it can be regarded as representing the face of our Uchiha clan outside. If it is too weak, it is really not good looking. Little devil, from today onwards, I will get up at 4 o'clock every morning to report here, did you hear that? When Sasuke heard it, he shouted in shock. 4 o'clock. It's not yet dawn. Hearing this, Ike suddenly showed a very dangerous smile. Really? It seems that you need to improve a lot. Let's start with your lazy character. Sasuke suddenly showed a bitter face, looking at Uchiha Itachi wanting to be rescued. Only to find that Uchiha Itachi had already left without knowing when. Don't look, no one can take you away from me now. Not even the patriarch. Seeing Ike approaching with a smile on his face, Sasuke's body couldn't help but tremble. No, don't. On the training ground, Sasuke let out a miserable howl. Deidara. Tisk tisk, to have this kind of one-on-one training opportunity with Master Ike is really a blessing. Haitu. Indeed. If Ike's husband is willing to teach me, I can wake up from my dreams laughing. Onoki. It can only be said that this is a spoiled child who doesn't know what is important. Fourth Raikage. Didn't the people in Uchiha say it before? This Sasuke has too little darkness in his heart, so in the process of Ike's illusion eye-opening, Yi Zhang was able to open the main hook jade. Terumi Mei. Looking at it this way, I always feel that this guy's strength is just like this. How did he have such a strong strength after that? Orochimaru. Needless to say, it must be due to my efforts. Jiraiya. Could it be that you performed some inhumane experiments on him? Naruto. Wow. Now that Sasuke has a Sharingan, am I still his opponent? Shikamaru. Don't you also have 9 tails inside you? You are the same as him. Namikaze Minato. It's just a discussion in school, don't take it too seriously. Iruka. It's just a discussion within the class, are you planning to demolish the whole school? It was another class discussion in ninja school. But to the surprise of all the students, Sasuke actually laughed. And it's not the kind of fleeting smile, but a very kind smile. Sasuke kept laughing, but it made everyone who saw it feel creepy. This is also normal. Once you find that familiar people around you suddenly behave abnormally in your impression, you will feel weird. Well, Sasuke-kun, are you okay? Little Sakura looked at Sasuke worriedly, thinking that Sasuke gave up on himself because he lost too much to Naruto. Then the little Sakura was horrified to see Sasuke smiling all over his face. Tianfun said to her gently. I'm fine. Thank you for your concern. You must work hard for the next sparring. Little Sakura stared blankly at Sasuke's smile, only feeling that the goosebumps all over her body were uncontrollable. Seeing this, the others distanced themselves far away, for fear that Sasuke would have a sudden convulsion. It's so weird. Sasuke always feels different from before, it seems that Naruto should be careful. Shikamaru said with a slight frown. Tooth rubbed his arms vigorously with both hands. I just feel a little disgusted, such a gentle Sasuke is not the stinky guy we know at all. No matter how the students feel about him, Sasuke has always maintained a smile on his face, without the slightest reluctance, and looks very natural. This is naturally the result of Ike's training of Sasuke. Always put on a kind face, so that no one can see through the truth hidden under this smile. After a few days of training, Sasuke has been able to smile very naturally. Soon. The class discussion begins. Naturally, Naruto and Sasuke, who were first and second in the class, were put into a group. Because it is obviously not fair to other people to be assigned to other groups. Compared with other students, there is a cliff-like gap in the strength of the two of them. Sasuke, what's the matter with you today? Did you get sick from eating? Naruto looked at Sasuke with a cold face, narrowed his eyes and said. Sasuke said with a smile. Of course not, it just feels like the world is so beautiful, and I'm always sad, which is very bad. So, I plan to face my life with a smile. Whether it is a failure or a setback, I should face it with a smile. Naruto shivered involuntarily, with a disgusted expression on his face. You must have taken the wrong medicine. Now that's not you at all. See how I expose your disguise. Under the command of the teacher Iruka, the two formed the seal of opposition, and the duel officially began. Naruto came up with a quick attack. Split the clone technique to try to interfere with Sasuke's line of sight. But this kind of clone technique, which only has interference effect and has no entity, can no longer work on Sasuke who awakens Sharingan. Sasuke accurately discovered that there is no entity in the avatar. So he didn't look at those clones, but looked around. Suddenly, the ground under Sasuke's feet split open. Naruto emerged from the ground and punched Sasuke directly in the jaw. With a snap, Naruto's attack was easily held by Sasuke. Naruto let out a cry of surprise, but he was thrown away by Sasuke immediately. Then, Sasuke immediately rushed over and punched Naruto hard in the stomach. With a bang, Naruto's body turned into a steak under a puff of white smoke, and he himself appeared not far away. It is body replacement technique. But Sasuke seemed to see through Naruto's behavior. Naruto, who appeared behind Sasuke, was behind Sasuke, and Sasuke suddenly turned his head and rushed towards him like a prophet. The blow startled Naruto, and he barely raised his arms in front of him, trying to block Sasuke's attack. However, Sasuke's fist turned slightly, passed under Naruto's defense unexpectedly, and hit Naruto's stomach heavily. Immediately, Naruto was sent flying, lying on the ground retching. Seeing this, Teacher Iruka announced immediately. Sasuke wins. Naruto immediately stood up dissatisfied. Iruka-sensei. I haven't surrendered yet, Iruka said angrily. Naruto, this is just a sparring, not a battle of life and death. You just failed. If you are not convinced, then the next time you learn from each other, you can win it back. During this time, you should work hard and practice hard. Sasuke's smiling seal of reconciliation, accepted. Seeing this, Naruto could only follow the seal of reconciliation in dissatisfaction. He kept muttering in his mouth, it's just the beginning, but Mr. Iruka is really making a fuss. If you continue to fight, I will definitely win. Sasuke won Naruto and returned to the first place in the class. But Sasuke didn't show any pride and complacency. Instead, he humbly said that it was just a fluke to the little Sakura Ino and others who came to congratulate him. This humility made the students a little bit at a loss. Onoki. I have already learned from Ache badly. I hide all my emotions so that the enemy can't guess. Kakuzu. As a qualified ninja, this is what you should do, never reveal your emotions. Deidara. Then Hidan definitely can't do it, he always shows a smirk. Hidan. Damn it. You are the one with the smirk. I'm Mighty Hoki's smirk. Hoshigaki Kisame. You two are in the same boat, so stop arguing. Fourth Raikage. I always feel that this brat is about to become difficult. Terumi Mei. Don't feel it. People like Sasuke have already awakened Sanguyu. Awakening Sanguyu at this age, the future achievements are simply unimaginable, although it is definitely not as good as Ache. Uchiha Fugaku. As expected of Ache, he is a member of our Uchiha clan, because he also has a Sharingan. Luo Shaw. What nonsense. How did you know that Ache is from the Uchiha clan? Do you know what his last name is? Kakashi. We don't know what Ache's last name is, but it should be a fact that Ache owns Sharingan, don't forget. The real Ache has all the abilities shown in the video. Hyuga Hiyashi. Then Ache also has the blood of the Hyuga family, because he can also use Gentle Fist and has white eyes. Uchiha Madara. Little Hyuga, you dare to covet Ache, who gave you the guts? Naruto. Damn it. I thought I could finally beat that guy Sasuke, but did I still lose to him? Sasuke. HMPH, just because you want to defeat me, it's 100 years too early. Shikamaru. Are you guys too involved in the drama? You guys in the video are not the same as you in real life, you have to be clear. 0. Although the victorious Naruto has been looking for Sasuke to compete, and wants to defeat Sasuke again. But from this day on, Naruto couldn't win every time. Even Naruto felt very uncomfortable seeing Sasuke's smiling expression. But why it was uncomfortable, Naruto himself couldn't tell. As a good friend, Shikamaru sees this very clearly. Because you can't see the real emotion that Sasuke guy is hiding now. That is to say, the current you can no longer see through the mask that Sasuke put on. Yes, use a smile as a mask to hide your true emotions. This is one of the things that Ache taught. Never let others see through your emotions, that will only increase one of their chips to win over you. Sasuke was still not convinced at first, but he was educated by Ike a lot, and he was not and had to follow and imitate. After he tried it, he had to admit that using a smile to cover up his emotions could effectively cover up his true thoughts. The battle between ninjas is more of a test of intelligence. Whether it is the ninjutsu mastered by both parties, or the way and method the other party is preparing to attack, etc., it all represents intelligence. If you can make an accurate judgment, you will be able to make countermeasures in the first place. Sasuke covered all his thoughts in a smile, so that everyone who saw this smile felt something was wrong but couldn't understand the real way Sasuke was hiding under the smile. If Naruto can't see through, then Sasuke will never be defeated. However, even with Shikamaru's suggestion, Naruto couldn't see through Sasuke's true emotions. As a result, in the next few years of ninja school career, Naruto was never able to shake Sasuke's first grade. Since Naruto can't do it, others can't do it naturally. In the end, Sasuke graduated first and Naruto second. However, people will always remember who is the first, and they don't care about the second. Finish the graduation exam and wait for the graduation briefing session. Sasuke, coincidentally, met Mizuki, the ninja school teacher who stole the sealed book and wanted to escape from Konoha. In fact, Sasuke has discovered Mizuki's special identity long ago, and has set his sights on Mizuki long ago. Only then could it appear right in front of Mizuki's escape route, blocking Mizuki's way. For the people of the Uchiha clan, Mizuki is naturally very jealous. But Sasuke is just a teenager who has just graduated and is not yet a genin, so Mizuki naturally has no reason to be afraid. Then, Mizuki was subdued by a simple illusion by Sasuke. When Mizuki fell into the illusion in a dazed way, giggling and dancing beside him, Sasuke curiously flipped through the sealed book that Mizuki was carrying. As soon as it was opened, a forbidden technique was recorded on it. It's called the multiple shadow clone technique. Thousands of shadow clones with entities can be separated at the same time to besiege the target at the same time. With Sasuke's talent, he learned this trick perfectly after just watching it a few times. But this trick has a drawback for Sasuke. That is, multiple shadow clone techniques need to consume a lot of chakra. It is a huge consumption for Sasuke at this stage. I am afraid that after one use, the chakra in the body will be exhausted. When Sasuke had just learned the multiple shadow clone technique and hadn't had time to experiment, an Anbu with a mask appeared. Sasuke, why are you here? Even though he was wearing a mask, the familiar voice made Sasuke instantly recognize that the person under the mask was his brother, Uchiha Itachi. Sasuke understands that the appearance of Uchiha Itachi as Anbu must be because of what Mizuki did. Just the appearance of Uchiha Itachi can solve some doubts for Sasuke. While handing the sealed book to Uchiha Itachi, Sasuke asked curiously. This thing should be very valuable, right? How could it be stolen by this spy so easily? Uchiha Itachi said with some surprise. You know he's a spy? Sasuke said with a smile. Naturally, I can see it. When I was in school, I felt that he was putting malicious eyes on Naruto. Considering the special status of Naruto Jinchuriki, this guess is not difficult to come up with. Uchiha Itachi nodded in relief, and said. Actually, we already knew that he was a spy, but we didn't know that he was working as a standard. This time I also want to use the sealed book, and I want to see whose subordinate he is. Sasuke said with some surprise. Does it mean that I ruined Hokage-sama's affairs? Uchiha Itachi said with a smile. Don't worry, you don't know, and we can also obtain information through torture. It's just a little more troublesome than the former. In short, Master Hokage will give you some rewards for this matter. You can consider what rewards you want. Sasuke thought about it carefully, and then said. I don't have any other requirements. I just hope that I can be in the same class as Naruto. Uchiha Itachi asked in surprise. Why? Sasuke said with a smile. Of course I don't want other people to drag me back. Although Naruto has a detached personality and doesn't look like a ninja at all, in terms of strength, he is second only to me. It is obviously a very good thing to have such a strong enough companion when performing tasks. W. Uchiha Itachi nodded and said. Well, I will report your request to Hokage-sama. Also, it's getting late, so you should go back early. After speaking, Uchiha Itachi disappeared on the spot in an instant. Sasuke looked at the place where Uchiha Itachi disappeared, and smiled meaningfully. Sure enough, it's the same as what Ike said. My brother won't doubt such a statement. In this way, we can be in the same team as Naruto. Deidara. Good guy, it was intentional. But why is he so determined to become teammates with Naruto? Orochimaru. Perhaps, because of Naruto Nine Tails Jinchuriki's status? Does Ike have any plans? Uchiha Fugaku. I definitely want to use this to control Naruto, and then take the opportunity to let the Uchiha clan occupy the power in the village. Fourth Raikage. Are you thinking too much? If Ike thinks, he can completely reproduce the trick he did to Sasuke, and open the eyes of all other clansmen who have not opened their eyes. At that time, Konoha will not be able to stop Uchiha who opened his eyes. Onoki. You were right, and there is already a precedent for this matter. If Ike does it, the success rate can be said to be 100%. Kakashi. In other words, Ike instructed Sasuke to do this, with his own special purpose. What exactly is it? Sasuke has long seen that in the same grade, only Naruto can keep up with his pace. Although now with the help of Ike, he has taken a lot of strides forward, leaving his friends far behind. But Sasuke is also very conscious of the high potential of Naruto as a Jinchuriki in the future. Therefore, in order to avoid being surpassed by Naruto in the future, Sasuke can only stare at Naruto at close range, and constantly improve himself, so that he will always be in front of Naruto. This is the most basic reason why Sasuke wants to team up with Naruto. He doesn't want to be surpassed by Naruto inexplicably one day in the future. The proud Sasuke couldn't accept this happening. During the graduation presentation and the assignment of teams, Sasuke got his wish and formed a team with Naruto. But a drag oil bottle Haruno Sakura was added to the team. In Sasuke's impression, Haruno Sakura is just a commoner with average talent. Theoretical knowledge is strong, but that's about it. In the ninja world, hard power is the strongest standard. So, Sasuke didn't take it to heart. But Haruno Sakura was very excited about the result. On one side is the handsome genius Uchiha, on the other side is the lively and cheerful son of 4th Hokage. No matter which one it is a good boyfriend choice in their grade. The nympho Haruno Sakura is caught in the trouble of happiness and doesn't know which one to choose. However, what Haruno Sakura never expected was that neither of them had Haruno Sakura in their eyes. No, Naruto still cares about Haruno Sakura, because Naruto's character is like that. But relatively speaking, Naruto must care more about Sasuke, who beat him countless times. Before defeating Sasuke, Naruto certainly won't pay too much attention to Haruno Sakura. The combination of these three people caused Kakashi, who became the leader of the three-person Jonin, a headache. On the one hand is the clan of his best friend Obito, and on the other is the son of the teacher. In terms of closeness, Kakashi is definitely closer to Naruto. After all, Sasuke is just a member of Obito's clan, and has nothing to do with NVC. Another Haruno Sakura was even more of a headache for Kakashi. The entire nympho girl doesn't look like a qualified ninja at all. These three people look like a very troublesome combination. But troubles are troubles, as the leader Jonin, Kakashi still shouldered his responsibilities. The premise is that these three people can pass his assessment. If it doesn't work, then they can only be sent to the ninja school one by one. After some twists and turns, the three of Sasuke successfully passed the assessment. Then there is the boring low-level task time. As genin who just graduated, most of the tasks they can perform are looking for lost pets, helping to plant crops and other manual labor. It does not involve the fighting part, so there is no need to worry about safety. This makes Kakashi, who is the leader of Jonin, very comfortable, and can enjoy Jiraiya's works wantonly. But after several months of carrying out these D-level tasks that were not difficult at all, Naruto finally couldn't bear it anymore. He asked for some difficult tasks. Only through difficult challenges can we grow. Naruto said swearingly. Kakashi thought about it, agreed to perform a C-level task. This task is naturally the task of going to the Kingdom of Waves to escort the bridge builders. The team was attacked just after leaving the border of the Fire Nation. Kakashi was crushed in front of the three. Naruto was immediately stunned by the sudden situation. To Sasuke's surprise, the little Sakura stood in front of the protector even though she was trembling too. In this regard, little Sakura is much stronger than Naruto. At least little Sakura remembered what the mission's objective was. Like Naruto, just stay where you are. At this time, the attacker decisively chose the unsuspecting Tamaru as the target. Seeing that the sharp claws of the two men were about to tear Naruto into pieces, at the critical moment Sasuke made a move and easily subdued the two men. Then, Sasuke looked at Naruto worriedly and asked, "Are you alright, Naruto? You're not hurt?" Naruto came back to his senses, his face flushed with shame. With the strength of these two people, Naruto can completely deal with it with his own strength. But this was the first time Naruto saw blood, so Naruto completely froze in place. No effective response was made. Then, Kakashi, who was hiding in the dark with body replacement technique, appeared. Kakashi first praised the excellent performance of Sasuke and little Sakura, but did not place too much responsibility on Naruto. In Kakashi's view, these are all possible situations for novices. As long as there is a change in the future. And Kakashi believes that Naruto will definitely be able to do it. However, this accident also made Kakashi question the escort mission. The commissioner, Dasna, obviously concealed the difficulty of the task. When a task that requires fighting a ninja appears, it means that the task level is at least B level. On the other hand, what Dasna commissioned was a C rank commission. Clearly not up to standard. Seeing this, Dasna told about the current situation of the Land of Waves, which immediately attracted the attention of the kind-hearted Naruto. Naruto felt that since they accepted the commission, they should try their best to complete the commission. Sasuke has no problem with this, after all, it is a rare task to go abroad. If the task level is increased, it will also help to improve Chunin and even Jonin later. So, the group moved on. Deidara. It seems that we have watched this passage many times, right? Dried persimmon ghost shark. If you don't kill that kid, will he be killed by Kakashi again? How many times is this? Momochi, no more chopping. Don't meddle in other people's business, shark face. Bye. It's a pity that I don't have enough strength to help Mr. Zabujan. Naruto. Wait, Sasuke must have awakened the two-pointed jade here, right? But now that Sasuke has three-pointed jade, will he directly defeat Shiro? Shikamaru. It's possible. After all, that kid Sasuke has Ike personally tutoring him, so the increase in strength must be exaggerated. Onoki. I can't think of a reason for Sasuke to lose. After landing on the island country of Nisaka, the team was attacked again. The assailant is naturally a peach ground and will not be cut again. Seeing this Kirigakure Jonin wanted by the water country, Sasuke couldn't help but be eager to try. But Kakashi ordered them to guard around Dasna. Sasuke had no choice but to obey the order and guard around Dazuna together with Naruto and little Sakura. Zabuchi and Kakashi fought fiercely together. But soon, Kakashi didn't check for a while, and was tricked again, and he was trapped in the water prison and couldn't break free. But those who need to maintain the water prison technique can't move without cutting, so they can only make a water body to deal with the three of Sasuke. From Zabuza's point of view, Sasuke and others are just three genin who have just graduated. The strength is definitely not that strong. But soon, Zabuza fell into deep thought as he looked at the water body that turned into water stains and merged into the lake. Looking at the two young men who easily defeated his water clone, Zabuza couldn't help but think to himself. When did Konoha's genin become so strong? He is one of the 7 ninja swordsmen, and his water body cannot even defeat an ordinary Chunin. In the end, these two brats were defeated so easily? Is there something wrong here? Seeing the two teenagers rushing towards him, Zabuza had no choice but to let go of the water prison. Kakashi was freed and immediately used all his strength to defeat Zabuza with the power of Sharingan's imitation. Zabuza was then taken away by Shiro, who called himself Mist Shinobi's pursuit force. Kakashi didn't want to cause trouble, and because his own chakra was consumed too much, he watched the other party leave. After that, the team arrived at Dasna's home smoothly. The task is half completed here. Next, you need to protect Dasna while he is building the bridge. Kakashi gave this task to Sasuke. Naruto and little Sakura were arranged by Kakashi to learn how to tread trees and water. As for why he didn't teach Sasuke, it was because Kakashi found that Sasuke already knew it. Naruto was very surprised and couldn't help but ask. How did you learn it? It's not taught in school at all. Sasuke asked with a smile. Isn't this the basic of basics? Naruto, don't you know how to do it? Seeing the smile on Sasuke's face, Naruto felt very uncomfortable. Naruto found that without realizing it, he had been left behind a lot by Sasuke. A few days later, Zabuza, who had recovered from his injuries, made a comeback, and beside him was Shiro wearing a mask. Zabuza challenges Kakashi again, and Shiro picked on Sasuke. Little Sakura is guarding Tatsuna to prevent the enemy from taking the opportunity to destroy their employer. As soon as Bai came up, he used his unique ice escape secret technique, and countless ice surfaces wrapped Sasuke in it. And Bai blended into the ice, as if he had become a flat person. Moreover, Bai continued to move quickly on the ice, even at a speed that exceeded the limit that the human eye could see. But it doesn't matter. Sasuke has a Sharingan with superb dynamic vision. Shiro's movement was clearly visible in Sasuke's eyes. After anticipating the attack, Sasuke quickly defeated Shiro. Bai was defeated and the secret technique was eliminated immediately. Only then did Sasuke realize that there was a thick fog surrounding him. At this time, Bai, who was lying on the ground, suddenly said, "Kill me." Sasuke gave him a confused look, then said with a smile, "I have no interest in killing a man who has lost his will to fight." Bai lay on the ground in a daze, his voice full of frustration. "I am a tool in Zabuza-sama's hands. If I can't solve Zabuza-sama's problems, I will lose the meaning of my existence. So, you kill me." Sasuke still shook his head and said, "I said, I will not kill people who have no fighting spirit. Furthermore, comparing yourself to a tool is really looking down on yourself. Your secret ice escape technique is not something ordinary people can decipher. It just happened that I, the Sharingan of the Uchiha clan, was able to defeat your ability." Bai looked at Sasuke blankly. He didn't want to hear these words at all. He simply felt that, having been defeated, he had lost his responsibility as a tool and had no capital to continue living. But he watched Sasuke open his mouth as if he was about to say something else. Bai quickly raised his hand and said, "Forget it. If you don't want to kill me, stop talking. But if you don't kill me, I will attack your leader Jonin." Sasuke shook his head and said, "That's not okay, I can't let you do that." Bai took off his mask, revealing his delicate and feminine face and smiled. "In that case, then you can stop me." With that said, Bai picked up Shinbin and rushed in a certain direction in the mist. Sasuke immediately rushed over and came to Shiro's side first. Bai's attack was also blocked. Suddenly, the fierce sound of thunder and lightning came to their ears, attracting their attention. Shiro looked at Zabuza, whose chest was pierced by Kakashi, and his eyes suddenly widened to the maximum extent. Sasuke is not surprised, because Kakashi's overall strength is stronger than Zabuza, and killing Zabuza is obviously not a big problem. What surprised Sasuke was the dogs that restrained Zabuza. It looks like a summoning beast, apparently Kakashi's summoning beast. Regarding the summoning beast, Sasuke is still somewhat interested. But neither Ike, nor brother Uchiha Itachi gave him any help in this regard, nor gave him any instruction. So until now Sasuke has not learned the summoning technique. "Don't behead my lord again." Shouting heartbreakingly, Bai pushed Sasuke away and caught the dead body. Kakashi stepped back and turned to look at Sasuke. Sasuke shrugged with a smile and said, "I won, but I didn't want to kill him, he has completely lost his fighting spirit." Kakashi frowned slightly, but did not speak, but looked into the distance. At this time, following Zaibu's death, the surrounding fog began to dissipate. It also reveals a group of thugs at the end of the broken bridge. In front of the thugs was a short man dressed like a dog and holding a cane. I thought Zaibu Zan was a master, but I didn't expect that he was also a waste. What a disappointment, I spent a lot of money in the end. Well now, this trash is dead. It's just right, you guys are going to die too, you dare to obstruct me from doing things. The short man, the employer of Zaibu Zan, the businessman Kado satirized Zaibu Zan's death in a cold tone. But his words irritated Shiro. "Bai, it is obviously an extremely special existence. White Zetsu does not allow anyone to dare to insult and then not beheaded." So, he stared at Kado and his thugs with blood-red eyes full of hatred. Then, the figure flashed and appeared in front of Kado. Kado didn't expect Bai's speed to be so fast, and he couldn't react at all, so he was inserted into his 5 sense organs by thousands of roots, and died in a miserable state. Seeing this, the other thugs immediately clamored to besiege Bai. But no matter how you say it, Bai is also a powerful ninja, and under extreme anger, he even aroused 120% of his fighting power. They were just a group of reckless men who could only wield weapons and couldn't even touch Bai's shadow. In just a few minutes, Bai, who was covered in blood, killed all the thugs. Then, Bai walked back staggeringly. Although he was not injured, chakra was consumed a lot. It can almost be said that the oil is exhausted and the lamp is dry. Deidara. I remember that this death should be in vain, and then Zabuza went up to fight these guys to death, right? Why is it the other way around? Onoki. It must be because of Sasuke's influence on him, otherwise he would have immediately gone to help block Kakashi's attack. Terumi Mei. Huh. Isn't it because he didn't have time? Forget it. No matter what, this poor boy survived and can consider coming to our water country. The water country is now very different from before. Hoshigaki Kisame. He is really the laughing stock of the 7 ninja swordsmen. In the environment where he is good at, he was killed by Kakashi so easily. It is simply ridiculous. 4th Raikage. This boy's blood inheritance limit is a bit interesting, but unfortunately he is too kind and has no consciousness of being a ninja. Kakashi. They are just a pair of poor people, but they met such a tragic fate. Kakuzu. Are you an idiot? The only graduate who massacred the entire class is a poor person? Orochimaru. People in Konoha are always so sentimental, and they use it in inappropriate places. They only see the surface and cannot think deeply about the deep meaning behind it. I am afraid that you still don't know the reason behind your father's death, do you? Scorpion. To be honest, I am also curious as to why someone who could kill my parents would choose to commit suicide. If he is such a weak ninja, it is impossible for him to kill my parents. Pain. You should carefully ask the Generation Hokage and his assistants about these matters. Grandma Chio. It's a pity that these 2 people are pretending to be dumb now. I don't know what they are planning, but they have already run away. Seeing this ending, Kakashi never expected it. Although, he was the one who killed Zabuza. But looking at Haku who killed all the big hands out of anger, Kakashi knew how important Zabuza was in Haku's heart. Seeing Haku kneeling next to Zabuza without saying a word, Kakashi had a headache. Don't know how to deal with it. At this time, Sasuke stepped forward and said with a smile. Sorry, the dead will not be resurrected, but the living must continue to live strong. Shiro was indifferent, his face still dull, as if he couldn't accept the fact that Zabuza died. Kakashi held Sasuke's shoulders and said, Sasuke, I know you mean well, but please stop. Give him some time and let him think clearly. Sasuke shook his head and said, This is not possible. Are you sure he can really think clearly? If he can't think about it, what choice will he make? Cassie paused, and his face became hesitant. He was an adult after all, and he quickly understood what Sasuke meant. Sasuke was worried that Bai would fall into a trap, so he committed suicide. With Haku's feelings for Zabuza, this kind of thing is not impossible. It should be said that it is very possible. Suddenly, a soft sound was heard. Kakashi and Sasuke turned their heads and immediately saw Shiro holding a senbon in his hand. And he thrust it into his temple without hesitation. 2 whooshing sounds. Sasuke and Kakashi held Shiro's hand at the same time, preventing him from actually stabbing him. Ah! At this time, little Sakura let out a short scream. Obviously her reaction was much slower than Sasuke and Kakashi. Kakashi glanced at Sasuke in surprise, not expecting that Sasuke could keep up with his speed. But Sasuke frowned and said, Are you just wasting your life like this? Do you know how many people want to live and how much they have to pay to have your power? Bai said hoarsely. Power? This is the damn power. It will tear my family apart. I personally used this power to kill my biological father. If Zabuza-sama hadn't picked me up, I would have starved to death in the snow. If you don't behead your master, it's all I have. As he spoke, tears kept streaming from Bai's eyes. Although Kakashi was still holding Shiro's hand to prevent him from actually stabbing him, he couldn't bear to turn his head away. Having been a ninja for so many years, Kakashi knows that all kinds of miserable things always happen everywhere in the ninja world. There are many, many people in this world who have experienced like Bai. Some, like Bai, were rescued by kind people and lived a stable life. But more people are living a life of ups and downs, and they may die in a corner at any time without anyone knowing. The ninja world is such a cruel place. Kakashi didn't speak, but Sasuke didn't stop talking. Really? Does your Lord Zaibu-Zan expect you to accompany him to die like this? Bai's eyes trembled, and he finally moved his gaze away from Zabuzan's body, and shifted his gaze to the young man beside him. Seeing Shiro's appearance, Sasuke smiled. Do you know what Zabuzan wants to do most? Bai immediately fell into memory. When Zaibu-Zan took him away, he made it clear that he would return to the Land of Water to completely change the Land of Water. Now they are accumulating strength in secret. It's just that I didn't expect that I would die here if I didn't cut it. Bai said lightly. Kakashi's eyes lit up. He looked at Sasuke in surprise, the strength in his hands loosened. Sasuke also put down his palms together. As for Bai, there was no move he couldn't think of anymore. Sasuke said with a smile on his face, in that case, why don't you inherit his behest? Honestly, with your strength, it's not that difficult to surpass and then not cut. And you are younger than him, And you have more time to accomplish what he wants to do, don't you? Bai's eyes gradually regained his figure. Yes. I can't just die like this. The wish of not beheading my lord has not been fulfilled yet. I must fulfill my wish of not beheading my lord again. Kakashi patted Sasuke's shoulder and said in amazement. I didn't expect your eloquence to be so good. It's completely different from the Uchiha family I know. Sasuke said with a smile. No, I learned all this from Ike, he is the real eloquent. At this time, Naruto was long overdue. Grandson of the fourth Hokage, Namikaze Naruto joins. Huh? Where's the person? Why did he fall down? Naruto stared dumbfounded at the end of the battle, never thought that he was just late for a while, and he was not needed for the battle? Little Sakura couldn't help but rolled her eyes, revealing a bit of her true nature. Idiot Naruto. Waiting for you to come, I'm afraid the day lily will be cold. Naruto suddenly looked embarrassed. Kakashi said with a smile. In any case, the mission this time has been successfully completed. You guys are doing great. No more chopping. This familiar feeling has the taste of Naruto's mouth. Deidara. Is this guy still from the Uchiha clan? You can say that. Naruto. What is mouth escape? I am obviously relying on my strength. You guys are really deceiving people too much. Shikamaru. Yes, but don't you have the strength now? You'd better be careful not to be assassinated. Assassination of outstanding talents from other countries is something that often happens. Tooth. Wow. Shikamaru, what you said is so scary. Sasuke. HMPH. Who will assassinate him at the end of this kind of crane? Shino. The so-called assassination naturally takes place when the target is defenseless and weak. It cannot be said that it is defenseless now, but it is definitely when Naruto is at his weakest, which is relatively stronger than when he will be in the future. Onoki. Although it is a ninja video influenced by Ike does not always wait for success. But if you look closely, you will find Ike everywhere. I can only say that it is indeed Ike. Granny Chiyo. Indeed, if it weren't for Ike's influence, this boy Sasuke would have fainted to the ground under the attack of the blood successor. How could he defeat Shiro alone? Terumi Mei. Ike will always change the existing process, which may be the main reason why Ike will appear, allowing us to see more possibilities. Fourth Raikage. But why does Ike keep appearing in Konoha? Is it too many times? Pain. Maybe it's because so many bad things in the ninja world are almost all caused by people from Konoha. The Uchiha clan, the Dark Danzo in the ninja world, and the fatuous Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen, etc. Kakuzu. What you said really makes sense. The mission of the Kingdom of Waves ended successfully. Except for Naruto, who was very dissatisfied with not being able to make a shot in time, everyone else was very satisfied. When I returned to Konoha, I found that the twice-yearly Chunin assessment was about to begin. Without any hesitation, Kakashi recommended 3 of his disciples to join the Chunin assessment. It's not that Kakashi promoted them to Chunin to get rid of them as soon as possible. It was a decision made in recognition of their strength after careful consideration. Although Naruto's performance in this outing mission was not satisfactory, but after experiencing this time, it is enough to see that Naruto's mind is extremely good. Barely considered a passing grade. The only thing to worry about is little Sakura. Little Sakura does not have such an outstanding background as Naruto and Sasuke. All she has is a chakra control ability that is much beyond ordinary people. This was discovered when Kakashi taught her how to step on trees and water. Little Sakura has amazing control in this area and can learn it almost instantly. Kakashi could foresee that when learning medical ninjutsu, a ninjutsu that requires extremely high chakra control ability, little Sakura would definitely show her talent. Therefore, Kakashi did not exclude little Sakura, but also signed her up. And the 3 of them lived up to his expectations and all participated in the exam. The part of the written test was full of surprises. The only thing worthy of praise was that Naruto passed the exam with a blank paper. This can be said to have broken the record. It also makes Namikaze Minato, who is a Hokage, a little embarrassed. I heard that when I went back, I was severely reprimanded by my mother. The next day at the second exam location, Sasuke noticed that Naruto's eyes were a bit unnatural. Although the injury healed on its own after sleeping, it was obvious that Uzumaki Kushina also knew Nine Tails Jinchuriki's physique, and there was no way he would be too light or too heavy. By now Naruto felt his eyes hurt. In this regard, little Sakura couldn't help but say something. It deserves it. If you hadn't turned in the blank, we wouldn't have been the last to enter. At this time, they have heard from the examiner Mitarashi Anko about the goals for the second exam. It's an actual combat assessment, and regardless of life or death, everyone who enters needs to sign a life and death contract. Upon entry, each team will be randomly distributed a scroll. The scrolls are divided into heaven and earth. The goal of passing the assessment is to collect both scrolls and then go to the central tower in the center of the forest to be considered qualified. It seems simple, but it can be played freely. In the forest, there are almost no prohibited methods. It can be said that it is a small battlefield. The enemy may attack by any means. Traps, poisoning, siege, etc., are all possible. When it comes to setting traps, it is obviously the person who gets in first who has the most advantage. Unfortunately, because of Naruto's outstanding performance, Sasuke and others had to face the situation of being the last to enter. That's why little Sakura couldn't help but choked. Naruto scratched his head in embarrassment. Sasuke said with a smile. It doesn't matter. I believe that with our strength, we can definitely pass the assessment. Naruto said loudly immediately. That's right, we are invincible. The sound here immediately attracted the attention of the people around him. Sasuke felt a sense of murderous intent keenly. Although it was fleeting, it was indeed very obvious. But he turned his head and looked over, but he didn't find the source of killing garden. This couldn't help but pique his interest. People who can have this level of killing intent, it seems that this time will not be boring. Thinking of this, the smile on Sasuke's face became even brighter. Little Sakura looked at Sasuke's smile obsessively, and couldn't help but said. What Sasuke said yesterday was so handsome. Without Sasuke, I'm afraid all of us would be eliminated by that examiner. At least I can't say that. When Naruto heard this, he couldn't help but curl his lips. HMPH. Actually, it was what I planned to say, but he preempted it. Sasuke smiled and said. Don't care, we've already advanced anyway, haven't we? Focus on the subsequent assessment, don't be careless. Deidara. Good guy. Didn't Naruto say that you passed the test? How come Sasuke snatched this away? Hoshigaki Kisame. Under the interference of Ache, Sasuke no longer has that kind of arrogance at all, but has a little more of an unpredictable old fox feeling. No, now it should be said that he is just a little fox. Grandma Chio. It's amazing, Ache always surprises us in various ways. Kakashi. Actually seeing this, I have a doubt, that is, where did Shisui go? Onoki. What you said made me shudder. This guy Shisui faked his death in order to help Uchiha Itachi open his eyes. But in order to do this, Shisui deceived everyone, even the people of the Uchiha clan. I don't even know that Shisui is still alive, but where is he now? Pain. The man who owns the distinguished heavenly gods really has to make people care about his whereabouts. Dry. After waiting for more than an hour, finally it was Sasuke's turn to enter. During this period, little Sakura complained more than once that Naruto was holding them back. Naruto scratched his head and smiled bitterly, while Sasuke looked on with a smile. Soon, after receiving the scroll, the three entered the assessment venue, the training ground known as the Forest of Death. The danger here is not only attacks from other teams, but also the dangers contained in the Death Forest. After all, it is a forbidden training ground, and there are many dangers lurking in the Death Forest. Giant leeches that can swarm up and suck out all human fluids. There are also various huge animals and so on. If you are not careful, the community will be taken away by threats from nature. Everyone should be vigilant and don't be left alone. Sakura, who is very knowledgeable in theory, said seriously. There are many animals and plants here that need to be paid attention to. Many of them contain violent toxins. If they cannot be treated in time, their lives may be in danger. Even if they are rescued in time, they will probably suffer a lot. Serious sequelae. Did you hear me? Why didn't you even respond? Wait, where is Naruto? After saying a lot and getting no response, little Sakura couldn't help but turn her head and look back. Then he saw that only Sasuke was following him, and Naruto had long since disappeared. Facing the eyes of little Sakura who seemed to want to kill someone, Sasuke said with an innocent face. He said he had a stomachache and wanted to go get it sorted. Little Sakura tried her best to suppress the anger in her heart. That idiot. But soon, little Sakura realized that this was obviously the perfect time to be alone with Sasuke. Immediately the anger on her face disappeared, she turned to Sasuke and said sweetly. Then let's rest here, Sasuke-kun. Sasuke said with a smile as he knew nothing about it. Just in time to be able to wait for him. The two then sat down, and the little Sakura couldn't help approaching Sasuke, and said with admiration on her face. Sasuke-kun is so handsome. If you hadn't stood up yesterday, I'm afraid we would have all been eliminated. Sasuke said with a modest smile. Where, even without me, there must be someone else coming. That's right. Even if Sasuke doesn't say it, I will. At this time Naruto returned with an unconvinced look on his face. Seeing that the rare time between the two of them was interrupted, the little Sakura suddenly showed an unhappy expression on her face. Huh. You still know how to come back. How dare you leave the team alone at such a critical moment? Aren't you afraid of being ambushed and besieged by others? What should you do if you fall into the enemy's trap? Naruto was taken aback by little Sakura's aggressive aura, and couldn't help but took 2 steps back. Well, I'll pay attention next time, sorry. Snored. Little Sakura rolled her eyes and turned away. Sasuke said with a smile. Now that you're done, let's move on. We're already way behind. With that said, he turned around and followed little Sakura's footsteps. Wait for me. Naruto yelled anxiously, and then a small smile appeared on his face. Then, he walked up carelessly and stretched out his hand to wrap his arms around Sasuke's shoulders. In fact, he held a kunai in his other hand, ready to give Sasuke a fatal blow at any time. However, suddenly, he felt dizzy, and then a strong pain came from his back. When he came back to his senses, he found himself lying on the ground, seeing Sakura's surprised eyes and Sasuke's still smiling and kind expression. At this moment, he understood that his disguise was exposed. So regardless of the pain in his body, he quickly jumped up and planned to distance himself. But just as he was about to do this, Sasuke stepped on his stomach, and even the transformation technique couldn't maintain it, and he changed back to his original appearance. So he's not Naruto. Only then did little Sakura come back to her senses. She hadn't even noticed before. He looked up at Sasuke in surprise, wondering when Sasuke noticed it. How did you find out? Rain Shinobi, who was restrained by others and disguised as Naruto, just wanted to know why his disguise was seen through. Sasuke said with a smile. Although your appearance and personality seem to be well disguised, your leggings are backwards. For disguise, it is an unforgivable shortcoming. How can I do it according to my handedness? Basic skills failed. Saying that, Sasuke smiled and kicked Rain Shinobi in the stomach. The heavy blow made Rain Shinobi roll his eyes and passed out. Sasuke-kun? Is this okay? Shouldn't we ask where his companions are? Sasuke shook his head with a smile and said. Don't worry, there are no other enemies around except him. If there was, there's no way I wouldn't have noticed it. And this guy didn't bring a scroll, so he just left it here. Let's go find Naruto and make peace with him first. Little Sakura clasped her hands together and said with admiration on her face. As expected of Sasuke-kun, it's simply amazing. And this is when Naruto, who has solved his stomach problem, is finally back. Rain Shinobi was shocked when he saw Rain Shinobi passed out on the ground. Hearing that this person was approaching disguised as himself, cold sweat ran all over his body. If Sasuke hadn't discovered it in time, something serious might have happened. So, in order to avoid this happening again, let's set a password first. Sasuke said with a smile. When little Sakura heard this, she nodded her head in praise. That's a good suggestion. When Naruto heard this, Yishi's expression turned bitter. He is not good at carrying things. But, what happened just now, Naruto naturally couldn't refuse. Then, Sasuke said a long series of words as a code. Little Sakura memorized it immediately, but Naruto's head almost started to smoke. The three of them continued to move forward carefully to avoid falling into the trap set by others. When it got dark, Sasuke suggested that the three of them take turns patrolling, while the other two took the opportunity to rest and maintain their condition. The first selected was Naruto. Naruto immediately muttered dissatisfiedly, he still wanted to be alone with little Sakura. But who gave him bad luck? I can only go on patrol. Soon, Naruto's figure disappeared from the eyes of the two people. After a while, Naruto comes back. Little Sakura was a little surprised, and Sasuke couldn't help but frown. Why are you back? Naruto said, scratching his head. I found something, so I washed it back. Wait a minute, do you doubt my identity? I can recite the code. As soon as Naruto said these words, everything felt wrong. However, Naruto just kept to himself and said the long series of secret codes. But Sasuke and Sakura just looked at Naruto indifferently. Their eyes didn't look like they were looking at their teammates at all. Some are just indifferent.